Right, let's try this one again, shall we? See if it all wants to work. Where's my all my windows? Let's have a look. Oh, that one's disappeared. That's a bit weird. Window. See if we can get this one going. Right, there we go. Bloody thing. It's a little bit more stable now, guys. Let's wait for everybody to come on in. Why is it all not working? It's one of those nights, isn't it, tonight, guys? Hey, Baseman, how are you doing? Right. Let's test this one out. Raf, you made it back in. How are you doing, guys? Let's wait for everybody to come on back in for the show. Oh, that was a pain in the arse. It looks like it was TikTok that was causing all of the problems. That's a surprise because it's such a platform. So we've had to sacrifice the TikTokers tonight until we can figure that one out. There, Easy, how are you there? We are back. Thank you for finding us again. Loch Loband? Yeah. Nobody, no, we've literally just come back on. The first scheduled event didn't go to plan. We're having some technical issues. Surprise, surprise. So we'll have to wait a second. And then we'll get everybody back in tonight for our Skywatch there. So yeah, not looking good for the TikTok front, guys. Adrian, how are you there? And Raf, I know. If only so many of our lot didn't just use TikTok, I would lop it off like a dead limb. It's such a frustrating platform. But it's that was causing the flashing of the card to somebody. No problem before, but they've probably updated something as they do for some sort of silly AI feature that's gonna, not help anybody at all. And yeah, how you doing, Harko? No more flickering. No, I've had to sever the TikTok limb tonight. It appeared to be that was causing it there. Paul, I literally just as it crashed there, I saw that, Paul, and thank you so much. That is insane. 10 members. Paul, that is absolutely insane there. Sorry about that one, literally at the last minute there, but thank you so much for that. I don't have the list in front of me of the people. Or do I? Does it come up on here? No, bollocks. Doesn't come up and show me who got it there. So hopefully those guys saw that they got it in time. But thank you, Paul. That is incredibly generous of that. Hey, if you've got my email, drop us a message because I think we owe you some favours now, Paul. There. As literally as I closed it, I saw the part. Oh, Jesus. There as well. Hi, Ping. The ping's fine. It's something to do with, I think it's something to do with having TikTok, accessing the video source at the same time. It's fine. It was screwing them both over. But it was as soon as I opened TikTok, yeah, it has a sulk. So it's TikTok being a useless on that front. So, hey, it's just you guys tonight there. Paul is 100% there, keeping it going there. So, guys, you're just joining us. We're going to try again. We're doing our live UFO, a UAP, a Skywatch there tonight. We're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. So, a long history of the weird and wonderful in these skies, and tonight should be no exception. Let's keep an eye out for the anomalous moving objects there. Hey up, how are you there? And Kate, yeah, we've had to sever the TikTok limb. It was screwing both platforms up. So yeah, we were getting all the flickering that pops up occasionally. That apparently is TikTok causing that. It's their streaming software. So surprise, surprise. I'll look into it so we can get back on. But yeah, tonight, yeah, it has to be just the tubes tonight. Sadly, I would leave a message for people on the Discord, but I've only got so many hands there. How you doing? Never mind. Good to see you back in there. So yeah, we're gonna push through, guys. Hopefully the camera's going to be a little bit more stable now. Don't know if you caught the oh, they really are up. If there wasn't so many of our community that kind of only use TikTok, I'd feel bad leaving them behind. But it is an awful platform. And I am so desperate to walk with my feet on that one. It really is. There as well. But anyway, oh, thank you, Kate. Appreciate that one. There. It's been one of those days as well. It really has there. Alan as well. Good to see you in. So guys, as you're joining us, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight. We're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a long history of all the weird and wonderful in these skies. Tonight should be no exception. We're looking out for them there. Do help us spot the strange and anomalous. And if you call out the grid reference in the chat, it should... How the hell did it miss that one? If you call out the grid reference in the chat, it should illuminate the squares, drawing my attention. Now I've only got one chat to manage, and also drawing the rest of the chat there. But it's definitely been one of those days. How you doing, Jamesy? As well, good to have you in there. Any news on the moon crash? So I think it happened, but it was just you know, the science has got some data on that. Nothing major really on that front, as far as I know. Did the aliens come out and go, hey, why are you chucking your rubbish at us there? Rodney, how are you tonight? Good to see you. We have made some progress though. I was fiddling around today with the new little box. It arrived for us to do our on location live, so hopefully, you know, the start of the Crop Circle Country one. Spent a very long time there trying to get it just right, but I'm very, very excited because we're going to be able to add we're adding new features essentially to it. So when we next go on location, you guys will be plugged into the infrared night vision goggles there. So if we do see something strange, we can just pick them up, point them around there. So you're going to have the sky view like this, you're going to have the host view, and then you're also going to be able to swap out the sky view for the infrared goggles, basically. So if something strange is happening around the corner, you're going to be able to respond much more dynamically, and you're going to see all of those weird and wonderful things. And it's given me ideas for other stuff as well there. Lots of flexibility for that one. So it's going to be really, really exciting. But who else have we got in there? Mason as well. How are you doing? I'm nearly missing some of the messages there. I've only got the one chat, and hey, it's it's turning up to be... I'm still struggling with that one. But yeah, we got lots of movement in the skies tonight. How the hell did it manage? Oh, at least it kept on the lock for that one. It did try to get hooked to the star, look, but it did manage to maintain it. So some of the improvements are working to the tracker. It's not caught that one yet, but yeah, so as that blue goes, that's the last bit of daylight, guys. As that fades away, we're going to see more stars, more contrast, more moving objects, all of that strange sort of wonderful stuff up there. It's going to look very, very pretty indeed. We are due a few little clouds, but they should pass hopefully quite quickly. So yeah, do help us spot the strange anomalies, but do also say hello. Let us know where you watch from and ask away any questions you may have. No silly questions here at all, and if you've had an experience with the phenomenon, we'd like to hear that whilst we're waiting for the action to appear on screen there. EC, great tech here. Kinda. We're getting there. Slow improvements, guys. Well, you know, incremental steps. But yeah, no, there are some impressions. One thing that we will be able to do now, I'll need some extra bits for it, but it's not essential. But I think it would be absolutely hilarious, right? It's for the on locations. This was one of the original ideas. Was it the Francis Bourgeois, the guy that does the train TikToks, you know, and it's got that fisheye close-up view of his face, and it just looks absolutely ridiculous. Well, we want to do that with me and Pete, like those two facial expressions, like, you know, so you'll have the weird distorted face look whilst we're doing the on location lives. So two little squares down the bottom of the night sky, and yeah, you'll be able to look at us kind of like, you know, and our reactions to things in silliness. So I think it's going to be interesting to try those ones. Dawdle, how are you doing there? And when's the alien attack begin? Ollie, it's a good question, but will it? Will they ever? Now, I think there's a chance. I wouldn't write it off fully, but it is a good indicator that, as far as we know, it hasn't happened before, unless some of the stories there from those ancient cultures, yes, unless some of the stories from those ancient cultures aren't to be believed. Yeah, but so far, I think we've been all right, haven't we? We've been a bit safe there. Oh, Rio, how are you there as well? You've made it over to here. Having trouble hitting the right keys. Never worry about that one, Rodney. And there, Janie is in as well. Good to see you there. And as Raf says, there are people like and subscribe. We do appreciate that one, guys. The likes, the tapping away, all of that jazz, the shares. It really does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, so the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. You never know who's going to come in and what experience of the phenomena, the highly strange, they are going to share there. Dawdle?
Nom.
Coming
Thanks,
in,
guys.
feeding Alan there as well. Appreciate that. Mason, no, we was, but the TikTok software itself was breaking it for both, so we've had to cut TikTok off tonight, and I'm going to look into it again today and tomorrow, sorry, when I'm meant to be working, and we'll see if we can get it back up for tomorrow night there. But yeah, I didn't realize it was that's what's causing those flickering bars that's coming up there. It was the TikTok platform was causing us that bastard. It's always something with that bloody platform. Yeah, it is so frustrating. It is there, but obviously we've got such a cool community over there too that we don't want to just abandon them. But I mean, it's looking like it's such an unstable platform. We're probably going to be there for, you know, consistently there. No images yet from, apart from South Korea there. Strange that they see the crash of Shoemaker Levy on Jupiter. Yeah, I mean, that one would have been much larger, so I can kind of get some of those. But yeah, you would have thought they would have had more than that. I mean, a rocket body is still big enough. With the kit that they've got now, you would have thought, wouldn't you, that there would have been more to it. And Kate, you're crap with tagging on this there. But hello, everyone. Kate says hello there. down here. Yeah, we're all up to date there. Sorry, guys. I'm just not used to the chat being so slow. Okay, no, I've read those messages. I've read those ones there. But, yeah. Good to see you all in. Thank you for making the jump over tonight. But if you are just joining us, you're settling in for a live UFO UAP Skywatch. We're looking out for all of these things flying around in the night sky here, live from Wiltshire, right in the heart of crop circle country. See that faint dot there? It's not a very good example as it's moving across there. Can we find a brighter one? No, there's not many on the screen at the second, but there will be. We're looking for these objects that are moving across the screen there. We need to see them stop dead, shoot off at speed, change their course or trajectory, because that is how we will know for sure that there is something strange about them. There is a lot of man-made stuff up there, and the only way we can be sure is by filtering it out based on its behavior. Now, if it doesn't do anything strange, if it does stay like this one in this consistent line at a consistent speed, we can't say it's a UFO, but it doesn't definitely mean it's going to be a man-made satellite. It just means it's statistically most likely to be. They have spotted these sorts of things in the night sky well before man had stuff up there. So yeah, it's not going to be a consistent explanation across the board. But yeah, we need to see that strange behavior. Coloration, flashing, stuff like that can be of interest too. So that keep us a lookout for those there. And most of us can hop over a part. I do feel bad for V. V, if you're watching quietly and it won't let you comment there, we do miss you. We'll have to figure it out. Alan's going to have a word with the YouTube people. And Stuart there, been here using my dad's tube there. Ah, Stuart there, good evening. How are you doing? And oh, if that's your dad's tube, is your name Stuart too? She's here, but she can't come. Well, hello, V. And Alan says hello. If you're there, we'll have to figure it out. We'll have to get you a new account there. And J-Dog, we are back. Thank you for hanging around and coming back and finding us there. We do appreciate it. They're bloody a TikTok playing up there, but it was spoiling both platforms, so I thought let's not limp through. And V says she's here. Excellent. Good to have you in, Commander V there. Mason, you're engaged. Congratulations. That is awesome. Excellent. Ah, that is very cool. And when's the wedding? Is it going to be coming up, or is it going to be... oh, well, we'll wait here now, get the engagement out of the way. Down there. I'm like Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost. Like, V's just behind you there as you're, making a pot with the clay. I like that one. So guys, yeah, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight. We're waiting for the last bit of that daylight, that blue coloration there to sod off a little bit there. We want to see more. Well, we're going to see more of that dark, the pitch black of the night sky there. We're going to start to see some of the colours of those stars. We're going to see the contrast, more moving objects and all that stuff. But yeah, the sun hasn't fully gone round for us there. So keep an eye out. It's a bit quiet at the second, actually, isn't it? It's cleared up though. I might have to see if we can move the camera around, see if there's a better part of the night sky. There's a faint one coming across there, but I think that's too faint to track. Maybe if I turn my settings down there, make it more sensitive. Nope, no, it's just... Oh no, it was trying to track real ones there. Alright, I'll keep the settings down low. Maybe there are some ones to be tracked there. Don't fully rely on the tracker. It is a guide, no matter what Raf says. I know he loves the tracker, but it is slightly flawed. So yeah, we're looking to see that anomalous movement. Rich is in as well. Still planning. I see. Yep, I'm at that stage as well, and now I've got the engagement out of the way. All of the other stuff, I'm like, I'll keep longing it off, and I shouldn't though. I shouldn't now. Ooh. Thank you. I love her more than life, and she's my whole world. I love that, Mason. You don't hear that so much these days, do we? In the world there, that's beautiful. And I don't think people appreciate you calling her Patrick Swayze. Nobody puts V in a corner. Is that that is a Patrick Swayze quote, isn't it? Yeah. But she can't comment to tell me, can you, V? Although that could be a new T-shirt design. I like that. Oh, where are we there? And oh yes, Janie, it's your birthday today, isn't it? There, happy birthday for you there as well. Did you have a good day? I hope you sport absolutely a rotten there. So guys, yeah, just joining us, we're doing the live UFO UAP Skywatch right from the heart of crop circle country here in the UK, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a long history of strange and anomalous, weird and wonderful in the night sky. Tonight should be no exception. Oh look, it lost that track, but there's one there it didn't even get at all. So we're looking for these objects, guys, just like this one here, or like this one that's just faded into view and now faded out again. Where the hell did that go? That's weird, but possible. Oh, there's one there. That's a very faint track. We're looking for these objects to stop dead, shoot off at speed, or change their course or trajectory, because that is how we'll know for sure that they are something a little bit stranger. I'm glad to hear it, Janie. Hopefully sport rotten there. She sent a gif. Is it a rage gif? I can be mean now. The safety of it. I can only see Vega here outside there. It's very strange moon hanging 90 degrees tilted. Oh, really, Hocker? Is the moon? No, we've not got the moon up yet for us here as well. I suppose you're in a different part of the world. How is the holiday going? Good to see you. How many of the little drinks with the umbrellas have you had in there? You're making the most of it there. Oh, it's the pottery scene. I need to see that one. I'm tempted. I'm not used to doing the one chat. I'm used to having to bounce between the two and keep like managing things and making sure nothing's broken. I'm actually a bit off guard. Oh, that's a bright one. Let's have a look here. Remember, guys, you can use the interactive grid if you call out the the letter and the number of the box you think it's going to be in, and then call it out in the chat. It will illuminate the squares. Oh, look, there's a few coming up there. That one was a shit track. There we go. We need to see it stop dead, shoot off at speed, change its course or trajectory for us to know for sure that it is something a little bit strange. I'm going to turn up the sensitivity because it is getting too many errors there. But oh, look, another couple coming in. A few wisps of cloud, but nothing too bad. Oh, why is YouTube buffering as well now? That's ridiculous. Hopefully it's not too bad for you guys. We're not even on the second one at the second, so maybe my neighbours decided to download the complete extended cut Lord of the Rings in 4K or something. Where are we? Down here. Oh. I got a blank message there, mods. It doesn't actually say anything. I wonder why that was. Went to Keswick there for lunch. Not long home. Oh, that sounds lovely. I like that one. And J-Dog there, C3 had strange movement. Good spot in there. Hopefully I'll catch it in the old in the replay there. Good use of the grid as well. A bit late to the party there. I can't get my head around all of these positions and the orbital mechanics of these sorts of things. And usually Lady Moon reclining means bad weather ahead. But that's not the forecast. It's probably more accurate than these damn forecasts, though, up. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Hold on, I'll check the missus is doing anything. Oh, no, I have no idea what's that. We're all, what's that gone quiet? It's a little bit too quiet. There we go. Yeah, it does seem to be, I think, a local connection issue, sadly. But it does normally sort itself out a little bit there. Bod the Builder. Yeah, Spanner Man, get to it. Tracker is not showing when you press the chords. So it should do. It might give you a second there, Alan. So it should highlight the squares. Let me try. Does it work for me? It should work for me. Hold on. If I put in A2, let's have a look. See if that one comes through. There might be a bit of lag on it there. There we go. Oh, that worked for me. Yeah, it should sort itself out. We normally get a bit of a sulk, but I'm not sure why. We're not even on TikTok, so that should free up a lot of data. Can't wait for there to be old fibre. Next time I see the engineers in the street, I'm going to ask when they're going to get to our bloody road. For it there, it's the tracker's fault. The tracker doesn't use data. The tracker's local. And Shulvo, the interesting fact, Eugene Shoemaker, him and his wife discovered the Hale-Bopp comet there and died in a car crash in Oz. And the only person to have his ashes on the moon. So I didn't realise it was him for that one. Are we... Why is that one coming up? Mods, are you sending messages? Because I think I might have an error, because it's not actually showing me anything. It's in white. It's just popping up my little message box, but it's not actually showing me anything. Who else was it that they put the ashes on the moon somewhere? Something like that. Oh, no lag for Stuart. Good there. And Wi-Fi is bad over there as well. I think we are having a little bit of issue locally, but it does normally sort itself out. How are we all doing? If you're new here, guys, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight. They're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. Long history of the strange and anomalous, the weird and wonderful in these skies. Those clouds moving slowly, but they are moving, so do help us spot the highly strange. Do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight there, and ask away any questions. So we'd love to hear from you all there. Loads of issues with the VPN there. It does seem to be something like that, Alp. I really think that there is more of a connection to those sorts of things, the solar activity. Excuse me, because normally when we will go through one of those phases of technical issues, and Mercury's in microwave or something like it as well. Oh, Oh, have you lost the sound now as well? Jesus there. And Private Tomcat, how are you tonight there? Good use of the grid, guys. I'm a bit late. It's still the tracker's fault there. And Newton. Oh, it's Pluto. Ah, hello, Pluto. Good to see you. Thank you for telling me that. I'll try and remember that one, Pluto. Forgot that was a thing. Why is that flashing up all of the damn time there? No message out there. The aliens are hacking. It definitely is Mercury Microwave there. Do you use BT? Their internet is really fast. Local issues aside. So yeah, we are. Well, we're EE, which is BT as well nowadays, isn't it? Yeah, we do. They were really good in Essex, but I think we're just pushing the limits of rural internet here. Like mobile signal is non-existent. We get a much better connection when we do the on locations up on the hills for some reason. Even though you're in the middle of the country, you get much better signal and connection. Here it's useless, but I said they are putting in the fibre cables as we speak, so it shouldn't be too long, he says. Good spot in there, Alan there. And stick it on the TV. Good shout there. I love the new setup there. Very James Bond Minority Report. Thank you there, Pluto. Yeah, so if you actually call out the grid references in the chat, it will highlight the squares. Oh, Kate, did it work? So I've got my little thing pop up. I couldn't actually see the message, so I'll have to report that one.
What do you think of this dress?
I like the dress. Yeah, it's a nice dress. Yeah.
My girls say that I should wear the yellow dress for the night.
Oh, well, which one do you want? Don't listen to them. God. So yeah. Where are we? Down here as well. Did it? Yeah. So I'm gonna just make some edits, Kate, because I didn't actually see the text. My little thing popped up, but it didn't show me. I'm kind of distracted, darling.
I know.
The dress is fine too. Yeah, I like them both.
Thank you.
See if I can make some change, make some notes for those ones. Let's have a look. Where did we get to? Have you watched the George Knapp, I don't know about Bigelow podcast yet? Very interesting. About halfway through, Rich. Halfway through. I do need to keep on to that one and kind of finish the rest of it there. But he was very interesting. Bigelow is an interesting character. There, and we're going to be, for our deep dive, that's going to be tomorrow night, guys. So we're going to be looking at Bigelow's former, so one of his companies was NIDS, wasn't it, which was the National Institute for Discovery Science. That was the one that they got a government contract to look into all the weird stuff there. They were going to try and get a UFO reportedly from Lockheed Martin, and then the CIA stepped in. But it's also all the Skinwalker Ranch stuff, the original owners there, and the investigation and stuff. So, excuse me. Yeah, so we're going to be looking through their archived website that producer AUP found for us. Oh, good one in A2 down there. So we're going to be doing that one tomorrow night, guys. So do make sure you join it. And if you were the recipient there of one of Paul's many gifted membership earlier there for Sir Paul, do thank him, because I think we ended the stream a little bit quicker there. But also you'll be able to join us, members, for that one. And it'll probably be about 8 p.m. tomorrow night for that one. And what does the neighbour think about all of your extraterrestrial secret equipment there? Does he know you're doing important work whilst he's downloading your Lord of the Rings in 4K? Honestly, I've told this story a few times. So for our alien radio signal hunt, we've got this big dish that I mounted to a flat part of my roof. And I'm standing up on there, and he's in his garden, looks up and goes, oh, what TV signals are you trying to get with that? And I was like, do I tell him what this is for? But I think he knows. Whether it be the dish or whether it be the fact that all of the light coming out of this room is just bright bloody green all of the time. So like, you'd think of the silhouette you're seeing now of my face. There's a window directly in front of me, so the neighbours opposite, they can see straight in, see this big glowing green room. So I'm probably the local weirdo there. Good testing there, Pluto. Hopefully it all worked for you there. And I don't know, man, dismissing his other half like that. Sod off, Grandmaster. Where are we? Very cool, and not much of a delay. Excellent, thank you, Rich. Pluto there for that one as well. Robert Bigelow looks like a Timu Vincent Price. Yes, 10 points, Grandmaster. 10 points. He does, actually. And Gaza, how are we doing there? Haven't done the grey font colour. It was working early when I was sending the messages, but I'll have to... Oh, is that... Why is that doing that? Grid ping events also used... Okay, so it might work if you try it again now. It might. I think there's 2 issues going on at the second for that one. And Sarah there, thank you for thanking Sir Paul for that one. Oh wait, no, I've still got an error coming up for that one. And Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings is great. And Alan there, the tentacles around the world. I've seen that cartoon. Where's my drink? Bollocks. I think I must have left that in the other room as well. So exactly, Lord of the Rings is great, Kate. Exactly. It could be shorter though if they didn't do so much. I can't tell you how many times I've watched the first one. There we go, Kate. That one came through. Bang on. That one came through. Thank you for that, for persevering. But yeah, it's the first one many times. The others not so much. Where are we down there? It's all people walking up and down hills. It really is. Oh. Yeah, I'm still getting quite high readings locally. I mean, once he's finished downloading Lord of the Rings, I'm sure it'll come back there. And is that Vicky there coming in with the gifts?
Nom nom nom.
Thank you for feeding Alan there. Appreciate it. All goes back into the stream. Difficult watching Bigelow because I keep hearing prices through the lines. Now, that's it. I'm not going to be able to finish that one, am I? And Count Bimface, Alan. I mean, he can't do much worse than the others, can he? He wants CFAX tabbing doesn't he there? Tried tabbing the screen, but you developed a stutter. That's probably just me in the heat. And what's the moving things? Is it Starlink? So, MJ, most likely yes. Basically, what we're seeing, these are objects flying around.
Zoom mode activated.
This is a bit faint, that one. I don't think we can really see much of it behind the target there. Very faint. But these are objects within the Earth's, just outside the Earth's atmosphere. They're in space. They are reflecting that sun's light back to us there. So we're just observing those objects up there flying around in the night sky, bouncing that light back down. Most of them are going to be man-made satellites. But there you go, that's a brighter one there.
Zoom mode activated.
But for us to know for sure, because UFO, ET flying around there from A to B is going to look very similar as well. We need to see it stop dead short of speed, change its course or trajectory, said to know for sure that it is something a little bit stranger now. Not all of the time is ET going to do that. We need that rare occasion when he's realised he's left the gas on at home and does an interstellar handbrake turn over the screen. But it does happen. That's why it's a hunt. We've got to look and pay attention. But yeah, most likely going to be man-made satellites. Now, even if it doesn't do anything strange, doesn't stop dead, doesn't change course or trajectory, if it just stays pretty consistent, again, ET is probably going to look very, very similar most of the time there. But these objects were seen well before man had satellites up there in space. So, again, most likely man-made objects, but not necessarily always. Downloading the new season. I'm not downloading anything at the minute, but tell my internet that there. And Vicky there, new to the channel, Vicky. Hello and welcome in. Good to have you in it. Have you ever seen anything strange in the night skies? Welcome aboard there. Yeah, apparently it's, sorry, not doing well with our connection tonight. Sorry, guys. Having a bit of a sulk. Shouldn't be anything actually on our end, though, uploading or what. But, yeah, no. There's nothing locally that's drawing it. So it's just got to be somebody on the same cable, essentially, has decided to use all of the limited local rural internet that we have here. Down to 720 and it's buffing like it's 2022. 2008, it's rural bloody internet. But as I say, the engineers are in the streets as we speak, so it shouldn't be too long before we get that there. Yeah. Slap the laptop. It's not the laptop, it's the local connection, sadly. And plump a tentacle from the neutron mass there. Adam, how are you doing tonight? Yeah, it looks like we've just got a very bad connection all of a sudden. We're down to about 2 tiny gigabits. Not much we can do, sadly, on that one. It's the IDF for my Twitter post. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. And Rich said, talking about being embarrassed, I had to tell a policeman in front of about 10 miffed, suspicious locals that I was creeping around the hills at night looking for UFOs. Oh my God. That is something that I worry about having to happen there. How you doing, Stacey? Especially of all the places we've got planned for our tour. That we're not particularly familiar with. There's always a self-consciousness in the back of our minds there. Oh, it's Blue Nose. Sorry, Blue Nose. I should have remembered you there. How are you tonight, sir? We'd just gone on for our last on location on the hill fault, and it was still getting dark. It wasn't pretty dark at all, and there was a couple that kept walking behind us, like on the sort of the ridge, and Pete kept thinking it was one of those conversations. It wasn't looking good, and then there's me and him, only a few feet away, kind of like trying to do the live. It was a pretty so I thought that was a little bit embarrassing. The real world people coming into our world here. Nice clear skies in Essex. I'm actually happy with our skies tonight, because when I first put the camera out, it was getting cloudy, and I was like, oh, is it not playing ball tonight? But so far, it's all right. It's still a bit bright, I think, with that moonlight, but it's still not too bad, I think. And that's probably why we're not seeing as many satellites there with the contrast from the moon. And Jeff there, new here from New Zealand there. And what is the software? It looks awesome. Thank you, Jeff. We're building it ourselves, so it's that's why it's not fully up there. We're working on that. We're trying to get it to be a little bit better. But yeah, we're working on that ourselves. It's quite simple. It just kind of looks for moving light pixels, basically, and then follows them along. And hopefully the idea is that it will highlight, because you can see how busy the skies are. And this gets a lot busier than this. And if you're trying to follow them more with your eye, looking out for those subtle changes that can mean UFO or not, it's a nightmare. So that's why this is meant to give us a little bit of a helping hand, help filter out some of those. And to be fair, we have seen quite a few interesting ones where because it plots the path that it's gone on, we've seen some very interesting patterns that it has sort of done there. How are the skies of New Zealand there? Seen anything strange in them there? You love it, Raf, there. Yeah. It's not good for ads, as the old tubes. Looking forward to the Persteeds there. I never get the pronunciation right, sadly, for those ones. But it should be. We should start to see more. We had a couple last night, didn't we? That you saw, and I didn't see in real time there. Best to make sure you're wearing a proper clothes when UFO hunting there. A long coat and a pair of boxers aren't suitable attire. But what about those hot weathers, the hot weather Grandmaster? What about that? You got to cool down. God, we were up there was it November or December last year for one of them, and it was like it had frozen over. It had there was frost on the camera tripod, and we were trying to run around to keep warm and keep jumping. There, Janie as well, feeding Alan. Sorry, missed that one. We froze our tits off, but hopefully we're going to be able to do more of them now. We've got the new magic bit of kit that's going to help us do those ones as well. Good spot in their TV, Alan too. And the moon is at those 3 degrees are still there. V! The message has come through to me on that one. Doesn't come through into the manual chat, but hello. Up there as well. And looking forward to the upcoming. You can insult me now back through the private channels there, V, with that one. Looking forward to the Meteor chat. Very, very much so, Vicky. There as well. And Newton, there as well. Somebody in Warminster is downloading the Vatican Library. It bloody feels like it sometimes. It's not. I think it's settled out a little bit now, but it goes so high. It pings my little measurement device here that I have running to tell me, and then it won't come back down. It has a little bit of a sulk. It goes up so bloody high. Let's reset it so we can check. But it looks like that passed our lag of the evening. Hopefully, touch wood. It's been another technical difficulties. Nice. But if you're just joining us, guys, we're doing our live UFO at UAP at Skywatch tonight. Kind of live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. So we're looking for the weird and wonderful in the night sky. These objects mainly, we need to filter out the man-made, the satellites, the shooting stars, the organic stuff like that. We need to observe it stopping dead, shooting off at speed, changing its course or trajectory, because that is the way that we will know for sure if it does something anomalous. If it doesn't do that, doesn't mean that it isn't, just means we don't have evidence to say otherwise. So essentially, guys, when they go red, it's worth paying a little bit of attention to. If you spot something the tracker hasn't, or that I'm not paying attention to, type the grid reference in there, A2 for example, into the chat, and it should highlight the grid square. And we can have a little bit of a closer inspection on the interesting ones there. The freezing your gnomes off, it was very much. We're doing the jumps. I don't think I've moved since then. Was we? Still on for Cradle Hill. Nathan, at some point, yes. So we got a bit of kit through today, so we're gonna have to test that a little bit. Should be a bit more able to do them, but definitely at some point. Cradle for the anniversary thing. Yes, definitely going to be there for that. And Leafall there. No, sadly we're not on. We tried to earlier, but TikTok was throwing a bit of a sulk, and it was screwing it up for both platforms. So I'm going to have to look into that one during the day tomorrow and see if we can fix it there. But yeah, TikTok is it was playing up a little bit there, and it seemed to have settled down now. Yeah, thank God. It just must have been. We don't have a lot of smart devices, so I make sure I turn off all the non-essential ones and disconnect my phone from the Wi-Fi, etc. So yeah, it must have just been, people that we're sharing the cabinet with on the street. But it should, again, a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, knowing the speed of BT, and then we'll have fibre here, and we'll be on all the platforms. It'll be lovely and stable. YouTube is a nightmare for the ads. We haven't set down to like the minimum setting for it, but apparently it's different for different people and all that sort of stuff, sadly. So is Elon Musk officially at war with the moon now? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. He did want to nuke Mars at one point, didn't he? To be fair, though, it was, in the aid of sort of terraforming it. How well that would work, we'll have to see. But yeah, chucking his old rockets into the moon as well. But NASA have done it a few times as well, haven't they? And Paul there, and you're trying to contact Alpha Centauri there. Hopefully found alien contact, and that's all we need there, as it poor due to poor signal strength there. And you got the ordinary engineers and the NASA. And what you need is the full power. Paul, so the idea of messaging live, could you imagine we send half of the message and no, we didn't finish the sentence, we forgot to say joking at the end, and we start some sort of international intergalactic feud because I only got half of the message. Pojo, sadly no TikTok on this one tonight. It is very, very slow. It was killing both platforms, so we'll have to look into it, but it should be for tomorrow, guys. And Jeff there, we have our fair share of 90-degree satellites flashing at us here in News End. The 90-degree satellites. I like that. Because there is the anomalous behaviour like that. That was a good little catch there, guys. That little one. So I think that was a misaligned track at the bottom. I was following that one. But keep up. That's exactly the sort of thing you need to highlight there. It's that 90-degree turns. Man-made objects just can't do that, can they, up there? But it's amazing how many people will still go, I'm sure it's a satellite. When is it Dr. Beatrice Villarreal? Was it she come up with those objects in the night sky, evidenced in the photographic plates from the 1950s there, looking very much like satellites, but obviously well before man had satellites up there. The first response from pretty much every scientist was, it's probably a satellite. And you're like, look at the date, lads, before it, and then silence, because they didn't have a comeback for it there. It's not much I can do, sadly, Rhea. That's just YouTube on those ones. It's very frustrating. Repost the edit to YouTube. Maybe it's something, I was looking for the live on TikTok and I couldn't see as I came here. It's always good to have it as a backup. Yeah, it was totally throwing. We did try earlier, but I think we lasted 3 minutes. I don't know if you've seen those green flashes that were coming up on the screen. They were basically, that was because of the TikTok software, essentially. The way it does, being TikTok, it was screwing with everything. Good use of the grid. Oh yeah, there's one just there. But yeah, so it was screwing with everything. So I've got to see if I can figure out a workaround for that one, see if we can repair it. So hopefully tomorrow night we'll be back there. But I didn't realise until we were on stream there. If you're all on the Discord, you'd get the updates. Good point there, Kate. So do join the old Discord. Alan's on there, gives you the regular stream updates. Or Kate, if we've already gone live there. And do you need a Southern Hemisphere site for your software? Jeff, we do need a camera. We do need a camera in bed. Oh, that's a nice bright one, isn't it? Should we zoom in on that one? Who got that one? That was a good catch. Look how bright that one is. Why the hell is that one not being tracked? But yeah, we need a camera in another location, different parts of the world. Eventually got tracked there, although it's a really bad track. But keep your eyes on it. It's the bigger ones. It's the ones that stick out differently. Again, it's not necessarily anomalous. It's not doing anything strange that I can see. But if it's different to the others, you have to go, I wonder why. Good spot in there, Mickey. And Fant, what's the next bit of that? It didn't all come through. If we ever message aliens like that, just turn off the predictive text, because God knows what there is. Oh my God, yes, I had to do that myself. Guys, if you're just joining us, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. We want to hear from you all. We're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch night, coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. But do make sure you're following, subscribed. Also, I should say subscribed. This is just YouTube tonight. There, because Ron said pretty much every night. Clear skies, it's the UFO UAP Skywatch, and cloudy nights we do an alien radio signal hunt there, where we search the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial, where scientists theorise that if ET's out there, it's where they put the messages where the wow signal was heard. And please hit the like button. Thank you, Paul. Yes, because yeah, those likes, those shares, all that sort of stuff there really does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds on the phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. You never know who's going to come in and what experience that they are going to share. That one, you're right, is a Vega. Big, bright, beautiful, not as purple tonight, and I think that is to do with the moon being up. But yeah, big, bright, and beautiful Vega there. 26 light years from us here on Earth. Oh, why has that one decided to scroll ahead on me there? Where are we? Down here. I thought it was your graphics cards on the bit. That is two, DJ. That is two. We've got two problems. That's a totally separate one. I thought we had a third, but Leanne was screwing with me. She was going outside and putting her hand over the camera lens. So we're sitting here, and so we've got, well, you've got the output graphics card, and we've got the input graphics card. So the output graphics card is the one that keeps crashing the stream for some reason. The input one was giving us the flashing lights there, the multiple sources in for all the cameras and things. And then on top of that, Leanne kept putting her hand over the camera lens, and I was like, what the fuck is that going on now? Why have we got multiple things that are all going wrong at once? Just as you sort something out there. Yeah. Oh, you should, Raph. You should. How are you doing, Carl? Just dropping to say how you doing there. Sorry, no TikTok tonight. Hold on. What's hold on. Don't tell me the YouTube has decided to have a sulk there as well. Is that still going? Because it came up with a black screen for me. I hope that's still bloody connected. Oh, God, it's going to be one of them nights. Mercury and microwave, isn't it? But good to see you and Cole. Yeah, TikTok was having a sulk earlier, sadly, so we've had to... That one should be back on for tomorrow there. And what kind of camera there? I could put one up with a fixed IP address. Oh, now that would be absolutely awesome. So we use like more of a digital photo camera, you know, there, or video camera, Sony A7 at some point. But you can do the all sky stuff with just like good CCTV cameras and stuff like that. Now just turn them up, right? Yeah, that might be something we can look at there. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Having global coverage. And Mason just joined the Discord. Awesome. Good to see you over there. Good one, Leanne. Don't encourage her. Don't encourage her. Where is my... I'm going to quickly grab my drink. Hold on, guys. Because I forgot that one. Right, there we go. Oh, you're on there. It came up as the... it came up as the waiting screen. So it kind of... That is weird. There are ghosts in the machine tonight, guys. All right, I'm not going to stress too much then, because there's obviously something going on. Something going on a little bit strange then. Yeah, very, very weird. So yeah, if you are just joining us, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight. We want to hear from you all, especially if we've had an experience of strange and anomalous. So that one... That was a false track there, sadly. Yeah, I'm going to actually use this opportunity whilst it's a little bit quiet to see if I can make some tweaks to the tracker. Anyway, where are we? Over here. Just making my notes for when I get to edit this. Where are we? Down a good spot in there, Alan. And can you record this screen in case you get the anomaly there so we can review it? Yeah, so all of these are all recorded and they are up on YouTube basically just after the stream that is there. We also have a copy saved. I used to go through them all on a Sunday and kind of just skim through them, take notes and stuff, but I just don't get the time to do it anymore these days, to not do it accurately enough to actually have a chance of catching some of the very brief things. So yeah, we are seeing if other people want to have a little bit of a look there, making the files available to it, but yeah, just don't really get the time, sadly. I meant to have a little button that can clip them as well, but again, that's not working for no particular reason, but that's a TikTok issue. Watch you for a week on now, so Top Show. Thank you, Fanta. There, I do appreciate that, and it's a good idea. Yeah, we just need to kind of get a better way of doing it more consistently. Good to have you in, part of the crew. Part of the ship, part of the crew. Had about 4 emails today from places I subscribe advertising of a cyber attack there. Causing the maybe, yeah, there could well be ARB. It could, because funny you should say that. I've got a couple of emails going, all your data's everywhere. Well, yeah, it bloody well is, isn't it? So it does feel like, you know, Mercury in microwave at the minute. At least I get a quiet night away there from EJ. Where are we? I'll catch you in a second there. Get your 4 litres of water still to drink at this hour. How you doing, Lucy? Good to see you in. And good spot in there, Alan and Matty. Guys, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight and ask away any questions. No silly questions here at all. We want to hear from you all. Let me just set the... Where are we down here? Let me see if I can just... I might just quickly reset the tracker to see if we can get a better lock on some of these. You'll have to bear with us in a second. I've changed some of the settings there. And... Stuart there, coming in, feeding Alan as well. And, it used to be, Paul, oh, that was a shooting star right there. Did you see that one? Just the edge of A1. That was a cool one. There we go. We're in the right part of the sky for the action tonight. It used to be a buzz around Proxima Centauri there, around Alpha Centauri. You would need a full power of the area all at once to reach it. With the friendly signal, you need a switch that takes the full area. So you're right with the Centauri system. As in Proxima Centauri, there is an anomalous signal that apparently is quite consistent detected coming from them. Proxima Centauri is our closest neighbour, then the closest by star. The BLC1 signal it's called, and that it was officially kind of ruled out as probably man-made interference, but lots of people were actually looking into it and going, there's no evidence this is man-made, and in fact there's evidence that actually points to it, whatever this signal is, originating from the planet's Proxima Centauri. Is it A or B? No, Proxima B I think it is, where they think, you know, this is coming from. Look at that ridiculous track there. I'm going to restart this in a second, see if we can improve on that. So yeah, it could be our closest stellar neighbour is maybe sending us signals, or maybe just emitting signals rather than directly sending us there. But it's an interesting system there, but I don't think we can see it. Generally, the stars aren't bright enough to see, even though it's the closest by one, I think, unless you've got good kit. Watching on the tube when you're laptop there, but typing on the phone is quicker. That's the pro move, Lethal. You know, have it on the big screen and then the chat in the on the phone there. Vicky, we're streaming the eclipse. I don't think we will. I think it's going to be a bit too early for us time-wise for that one. I don't really have the best equipment for it, so I might just watch some other people doing some cool things like that. Right, let's restart this tracker. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Let's restart that one. Hopefully, it's going to be a little bit better, but most likely, it is going to be exactly the bloody same. Let's do those ones. There we go. Let's see if it wants to get better tracks and less of those. We're getting a lot of dog legs with it starting to track things, and it shouldn't be doing that. There's no really good reason for that. Let me turn up the brightness so it can have a little bit of a go there. Oh, no, that's worse. That is worse. Right, let's immediately change those settings back. Might revert that one. I'm not getting any tracks now, so you have to do it manually whilst I'm waiting for the settings to update. Oh, yep, we've got that one up there. Is there something? There's one there. I can see a faint one coming in just down there. Faint one coming in there and there. One from the bottom. Oh, yeah, we've got a few bits of activity here. Don't think you'll be meeting. You got to chug it there. Chug it there, Kate. Is that Rigel, the blue? Not quite. Not a bad guess. That is Vega, the big and bright and beautiful. A purple one there. Let me just see if we can restart this. We're going to do a little bit of work in progress tonight. Whilst it's one of those nights with a bit of technical difficulties, we're going to be just tackling maybe improving the tracker on the fly, because where I'm not doing 2 chats, I can actually make some edits whilst it's being tested in the real world. So actually this could work out for us there. We can improve that tracker going off. And in fact, let me just reset that one. Connected to there. Oh, still connected. Thank you, guys. Oh, no, it's having a sulk for the YouTube chat. Last night I was reading about people who believe that they were abducted by aliens, and I found it weird that a few of them was from Yorkshire Police Force. That is one of the things that we don't get a lot of. Every now and again somebody might claim to have an encounter with the third kind like that, but it's quite rare. I mean, generally speaking, people do think that for that part of the phenomena has died down a little bit. Right, let's just try this on now. It's died down a little bit from its peak in the the 70s, the 80s, the 60s there. But yeah, it's no, we're still not getting anything there. Let me just make some more tweaks, because that is, yeah, obviously that isn't good enough for it. But yeah, it does seem to be down its peak, doesn't it, there? So are they not as interested in us now? I mean, I think the genetics for humans now is a bit more populated with what we've been doing to the planet and whatnot. So maybe they're not as interested in that sort of stuff now. And when we gaze up at Vega there, we are literally looking back in time there to the turn of the millennium, 2000, 2001. Lethal, bang on. It's a time machine. If somebody, excuse me, basically said, here is a Polaroid of 26 years ago, it's kind of like the same thing. That is exactly what that star looked like 26 years ago, because the light takes 26 years to reach us. If that had exploded, a year ago, we won't know for another 25 years there. Nothing's going to travel faster than that one. Let me just have a look on here, because let's see if I can get this back to where it was. Right, I'm just going to reset the tracker again, guys. Trial and error. We will get there. We will get there. See if it wants to pick anything up now. We've got any faint ones? There's a faint one coming in there, but I think that's going to be too faint for it in general. Faint one down there. There we go. All right, it's getting summit. It's getting summit. But yeah, it is like looking back in time there. And always from the 80s. There was like a season. I think we've had 2 or 3 people over the whole time that have claimed to have had an experience like that. Where is it getting that one from? That's stupid. That's really frustrating. It gets that one on a wrong track, and now it's getting this one. It misses this one, sorry, which is a big, bright, fast one. Should zoom in on that one.
Mode activated.
No idea. No idea. We'll have to keep choosing that one. But yeah, we've got a few people, but not a lot. Now, maybe it's because, the phenomenon itself has died down, or it could be, that they are so deeply personal, the experiences, people don't want to share them as much. Oh, the Enigma Enigma Labs app has a new feature that gives each tranche video a global position on the satellite map. That is cool. That is really cool, actually, because I definitely was curious being able to match up some of those landscapes. Did not know that. So crazy to think we live in space. Oh, Lucy, it really is that we're hurtling as well through space. Our whole solar system is in orbit of our galaxy, kind of like how our planet is orbiting the sun. The whole solar system is orbiting the galaxy. Everything is moving. Everything is in motion. And kind of like we have the seasons, depending on where the planet is in orbit of the sun. Sometimes a little bit hotter, a little bit colder, all that sort of jazz. The same is technically true to some degrees with the galaxy, we think. Now, it's over such long time scales, but it might be why we go through more debris, dangerous patches there, and we could have more comet impacts and things. Then we go for a stabler period, but there are sort of galactic seasons too, and the videos are not easy to use, but the group positions are very interesting, Scooby. I think so, yeah. That is very interesting. Well, maybe we'll have to take another look at some of those videos with that extra data there. Having a convo with Gemini last night, and Scooby coming in feeding.
Nom, thanks, guys.
Gemini last night for an hour there about space and that. It's very cool the way you can talk to them now, isn't it there? And Jonathan, a bit like in the 90s and the early 2000s, to Bonnybridge in Scotland, just 5 miles from me. It was a hotspot. Apparently it's still quite busy there as well. But you do wonder, why do these areas go through a hotspot? I think I can imagine to a certain degree, because you're going to have two things at play. As soon as an area gets sort of a critical mass of attention, the awareness goes up. Awareness goes up means more people are going to look at the night sky, and then they are going to see both the things that are anomalous up there, so you're going to get more sightings because of that. But then they're also, you know, not everybody knows the difference between UFOs and satellites and things like that, so you're going to get more false sightings as well around it. So I know how they can kind of explode, but like there are cases like Bonnie Bridge, like here in Warminster, there's a couple out in the US as well that kind of just have this. There's something going on there. What is the fuel? Why is it such a busy period? Even if it's for only a short point in history, it's a short point, like a decade or whatever it is. What was the reason for the phenomenon? What's the cause of the phenomena being there? Not just us observing it there. And Scooby there coming back in, feeding Alan. Oh, and you can see easily with the special icon. You can push, I'll have to give that one a play, Scooby. Reading about Bonnie Bridge as well. That's on our UFO UK hotspot tour. Again, we're a bit close to that. We got the bit of kit through today that we need. One of the biggest bit of kit. So we luckily got one of those very rare, incredible deals on eBay. It's a bit of kit that should have cost £1,000, and we got it for just over 200 quid. So, like, amazing luck right there. That's got it really, really close to us. So now all we really need to do is just get the Starlink dish. So we're now much closer to getting that, to getting ourselves to do the UK tour. But this little kit, it's like the all-in-one streaming box. You just plug all the sources into all the cameras and things. So it's going to allow us to do basically a version of this. If you've not seen our live on locations before, you know, you have the big night Skywatch. We bring the same camera. You get the host view. But with this one, we're on location. We can actually connect the infrared night vision goggles that we've got, which again, the infrared is meant to be very, very, very active for the phenomena, so there's a good chance we'll see more. But if we see anything live, you know, that where the camera isn't pointing, maybe it's close by to us. Oh, perfect example would have been those cows rushing us last time. We can just point that, you know, there, and then you can have that on the screen too. And there's some other ideas of things. I need to make the dog whistle portable. That's another thing as well. And then yeah, we can maybe do some summoning of the craft potentially when we're out on location. It's amazing to think that Stegosaurus when Stegosaurus roamed the Earth there, the entire solar system was on the opposite side of the Milky Way. It really is. And did you know we can't actually see much about the opposite side of the Milky Way? I can't remember what it is that's in the way. Cloud to summit. There's a lot of stuff in the way, so we don't get as good astronomical data because it's just on the other side. We can just make sort of generalized guesses. But yeah, the fact that we're in orbit around all of that is crazy. And like what the effects of them are there. And Ed's there had a strange incident at Haverford, West Pembrokeshire in 1980s, just before Rendlesham. Oh, well, Rendlesham is going to be where we're going to kick off that UFO tour. But tell us more, Ed. I want to hear about this experience. Was it a similar one to Rendlesham there? Oh, what's down in there? Oh yeah, you got an untracked one. Good spot him.
Zoom mode activated.
Let's see. You got to be careful because look how well they blend in to the background there. We need to see those objects stop dead, shut off at speed, change course or trajectory for us to know for sure that they are something a little bit stranger. Indeed. Probably they're lethal. And Scooby, very well, thank you, Scooby, much appreciated. And also just having you in is good there. And so Paul, why don't aliens have cloaking devices like the Klingon ships there? They certainly like being seen. I would agree, Paul. I think they probably could if they wanted to, but you know, if they've got advanced technology enough to reach us here, then I'm sure they could figure that one out, couldn't they? But maybe they just don't care, you know. Maybe they're just they either don't value the beings and the craft, so they're disposable, or you know, they're borderline untouchable. But obviously there are reports of crashes and things in the past. But yeah, I lean that way, that they probably just don't care enough. And Grandmaster, assuming that a good number of UFO sightings are purely energetic phenomena as opposed to manufactured craft, I wonder how much of a connection there is between these sightings and ley lines. Oh, yeah, good connection there, Grandmaster, because I do think a lot of majority of what is seen is the lights, isn't it, in the sky, the orbs and things like that. And that is going to be the closest, I think, to, you know, this energetic side of things. They're potentially plasmoids, the sentient plasma life and stuff. And again, maybe something to do with the ley lines. I know very little about ley lines. This little town is meant to be a convergence of some sort of special ley line arrangement or something, which might be why it did have that activity in the first place, might be the explanation. But I don't know much on it. I've heard very interesting cases for, and I've also heard some very logical cases against, but I haven't done a dabble, but we'll have to at some point. And the Loot interview was scheduled for tonight in a few hours there. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one for Loot Elizondo there. Check that one out, guys. And the cow story seems to be a permanent fixture in Sam's diary. I mean, dairy, Jesus. If Grandmaster, before the cow, it was the plastic bag, and then you guys just all the time. It sits with me. That scared the hell out of me seeing those cows there. So you can look forward to that one in the next instant. And when you're out on remote broadcast day, you should play the dog whistle on a higher power festival speaker system. I'm trying to make it as carryable as possible and as portable. So if I need to run, I can pick it all up. But we are looking to get as powerful as possible, like portable-ish sort of speaker system. Pete can carry that, not me. But yeah, I need to do that. I need to get an old phone as well that's got the right digital audio converter there, so it'll play the right tones, so we can have that outside, because at the minute it involves me plugging into the speaker outside and leaving my phone there to run the sounds. We can't let him forget the Sainsbury's bag. Thank you, Kay. Exactly what I mean, guys. Guys, if you're just joining us, though, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight there, and we're joining us live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down. Well, let me change some of those settings. Let's tweak those around. And just down the road from Stone Henge. The long history of the weird and wonderful in these guys. Do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight there. And yet, ask away any questions. No silly questions here at all. We are on pretty much every night, so make sure you're following and subscribed there, because then that way you should get those notifications when we go live. Lots of clear nights ahead, so lots of Sky are watching there. And tomorrow, remember, guys, if you are a member or a Patreon, before the mainstream, probably about 8 PM, we're going to be doing our deep dive. We're going to be looking at the archived NIDS website there, the National Institute for Discovery Science. That was the organisation that investigated Skinwalker Ranch originally. Was meant to be receiving UFO craft from Lockheed Martin, but apparently was stopped by the CIA. Anyway, Robert Bigelow, you've seen him in the news recently. It was his organisation that was funded by the US government to look into the highly strange, and we're going to be looking through their archives together with you guys there, found by producer AUP. Those ones. Or is he still getting the freezing issues? Our connection seems to have sorted itself out on this end, so hopefully it's stable here. And Paul, I just have to worry about those cows now. What about the July 4th, 26th crop circle in the Devices Wiltshire? Was it far from you? Devices is not too far from us at all. So we're, I don't know, about 20 minutes down the road from Devices, I think. But we've had them on the outskirts of town and all that sort of stuff. Over the years, there's been lots of reports. Oh, good. Yeah, another untracked one there. That's a bright one, isn't it, guys?
Zoom mode activated.
Look at that. And if you want, if anything is being missed, guys, you can call out the grid references in the chat, and the boxes should align. But I do wonder what I would do, like, because part of me craves have it. This is why I'm doing it. I'm so curious. I want to know. I want to see it. I want to experience it. But I mean, you've seen me on the live on locations there. My bottle goes quite quick, so you do wonder, like, what would I do actually there with, you know, not just the light in the distance acting a bit strangely, not a light in the sky moving around, but, you know, it's far away, you're a bit detached, but, you know, actually something up close, something indisputably odd there, and over which way, you know, maybe like what people report that make the crop circles, those orbs flying around. We were to witness one of those up close. I wonder how long we'd have the camera on for that one. And they might just be nipping to the space petrol station. You never know. And they already know our tech is crap, so they can basically do as they wish. I wonder, because yeah, you do hear about this connection where they can basically do what they want to, wipe videos, know that you're watching them, all of that sort of stuff. Would they know that we're streaming it? And would they still appear, or would they turn everything off? And Jenny there, Rendlesham was the British military there, ranking the US military. It was resolved a long time ago. So Jenny, I don't think it was 100% resolved. That was one of the theories that was put forward with it, and it's an interesting one. It does make me laugh, that one, actually. I thought it'd be quite funny if it was, but it's definitely not conclusive there. You know, it's still, those reports are still relying on, you know, people's individual testimony and people's, you know, it's not like a locked in one. Was it aliens? I don't know. I think the downed satellite theory was quite a good one with that, and also there's been some interesting behaviour with what was going on technologically speaking in that area there. Lots of weird research, high energy waves with the ionosphere. So there may have been those things to play. It's definitely a possibility. But I don't think it's not conclusive on that one. And it's there. We got off the ferry from Ireland in the early hours, about 1 AM there. Our vehicle would not accelerate or slow down, even on the hills, and it lurched and then died. Our 5-hour trip took 13 hours. So you had some interaction. Was there any like visible signs or anything with that as well? Because that interaction with the engine is heavily reported, probably due to sort of electromagnetic interference from the craft. And funnily enough, that phenomena has kind of died out when our vehicles got, or that part of the phenomenon has died out when our vehicles got more resilient to that. They didn't depend on such, temperamental electronics, basically. But a really interesting fact about the cars, cutting out, was that it only happened with petrol cars, right? Which again, that's how they work. How the ignition spark on the system work. Their diesel cars work on compression, so the electromagnets wouldn't interfere with that. So, funnily enough, it worked with the vehicles you'd expect. But also, reportedly, it was. That one's just gone absolutely haywire there. It's getting a little bit creative with those tracks, guys. Apparently about 5% of the witnesses would report that their cars automatically started once the craft had buggered off. Once the visual or audible part of the experience had disappeared, the cars would automatically start back up. Funnily enough, that when they tested this, it's to do with like where your engine actually stops and how much sort of like how much energy was in the charge, basically. That about 5% of actual cars would stop under test conditions as well. So it kind of matched the behaviour there, and nobody knew that until they started measuring it later on. But yeah, it worked out. Go for the historical reports. It's about 5% reported the cars automatically starting, and later on, 5% did work like that. I mean, crop circles are made by humans. Hey, they definitely, some of them are at the very least. I go to and fro on it there. Like, I don't need aliens necessarily, but also some of those designs are like absolutely massive. And like, where are the shit crop circles? That's something that I always go, where's the apprentice crop circles? Where are the ones where they've been interrupted halfway? There, and again, I think there will be human ones, so that there as well. I wouldn't write it fully off, but I do think having such a good explanation from the prosaic does mean that it is a higher burden for the evidence, for something more anomalous going on around there. Evening, SK, how are you doing? There, XXJ there as well. Welcome aboard. Good to have you in. Down there, yeah. Where are we today? So, I don't actually speak French. Or hello, yeah, I don't get the translations up there. And Susie, how you doing there? I just got back from Warminster near Arundel, and I saw a bright oval shape there, daring pretty much everywhere in the sky. Susie, now that is anomalous. That movement immediately makes it very, very interesting. Right, whereabouts in the world is that? I don't recognise the name. I wonder how curious it is there. And I'm talking of Skinwalker Ranch there. Anyone remember that viral clip which showed a direwolf attacking a pack of dogs there? And it was obviously fakery, but I so wanted it to be real there. It was a fun hoax, and sometimes these are a bit of fun. I don't remember the clip, but I remember something about they found like a direwolf jawbone or something that wasn't pretty there as well. But not officially, Jenny, they didn't. No, what you're saying is that you've heard people quoted as that, but it is not official until that somebody comes out officially and puts it on the record. There are lots of theories around, but it is just theory at this stage. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it was true there as well. Deep mistrust of supposed authoritative institutions. Exactly. It doesn't mean we throw it all away, but just because somebody has an authority to it doesn't mean that they are that they're right. People can just be wrong. People can have bad days here, but we're all ultimately humans with this sort of stuff as well. I do love it when scientists come out and go, well, trust me, I'm a scientist. And they go, have you never had a bad day? Have you never got something wrong there? Because you're human more than that. And, take everything with a pinch of salt there. But I fall for this sometimes as well. I hear something will pop up, a news article of like a new theory or a new angle that's up there. And I go, oh, that fits in with what I already believe. So I'm more likely to take it because it fits in with my understanding. But it doesn't mean it's true. It's just another point of it there. Oh, has it gone buffering again for you, Grandmaster? This end it's saying it's okay, which is weird. But if you're in, guys, do say hello and let us know where you're joining us from tonight there. We're doing our live UFO, UAP, Skywatch there. Coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge there. Good spot in there, Alan and Matty. I think the tracker has been at the whiskey tonight. I think you're right. I think what else is going on, I think there's a bit of moonlight in the sky, which is making that contrast, although it's not too bad for us. I think that's why it's having such crazy... when we first tried it, it was... it had much more details there as well. And Buffy there, the Wi-Fi has reported that one of the army personnel who drew sketches on the night of Rendlesham has magically started showing new sketches that were not in his notebook, indicating to lie. Buffy, bang on. Yeah, he did. So later, apparently, it came to him that that it was, what was it? Yeah, it came to him that when he touched the craft, he got a binary download, basically, from the craft. And I think there's something within what he'd sent in the binary gave coordinates or something, but the coordinates were wrong in a very human way, so it kind of pointed towards that there was fictitious stuff going on there. So this is the thing, like, the problem is, without access to classified files, something went on, whether it was the I think it's the SAS, wasn't it, playing silly buggers there, trying to wind up the Yanks, which I like. I think that's hilarious. Whether it was something to do with down satellites there, whether it was something highly strange going on, or it could have been anything. Without official confirmation, we won't know as individuals there across the board. And there's all sorts of room for misinterpretation as well. But something happened in those woods. Was it more explainable? Was it more prosaic there? Or was it something highly, highly strange? And yeah, until that, we just have to kind of used to it going, it's fine to have individual theories and for individual preferences, it's totally fine, but yeah, we can't collapse it down. And I do find it suspect, with things like that, you when stories change, but there are reasons what stories will change, but you do have to take that into consideration with reliability of the witnesses. But there are lots of witnesses that talk about very, very, very similar things from different vantage points. But what were they describing? Lights in the forest, moving objects. That isn't necessarily ET, is it? That is a light in the forest. That could be a number of other things. It's like what we're looking at these things in the sky right now, like this one down here, just before it goes off the screen. What is that? That is an object, moving, at a high altitude there, bouncing the sun's light back down to us. We can't say any more than that. When it does a little loop-de-loop and a zigzag, then that tells us that it's not a man-made satellite, as we know that they can't behave like that. But what actually is it? Because we're still just seeing reflected, it might even be emitted in those cases, but we're just still seeing a light. We can't extrapolate much more, sadly. So we can look at it and go, that is interesting. But yeah, to collapse it down, we compare what we most likely think, but we can't say for sure, can we? And Ed, and I was 10, and my memory is flaky there. And I recently went back to Haverford, there west, with a friend and found the spot there. Sat sky watching for hours and saw nothing. So it's really interesting. What did your parents ever talk about that time as well? And thank you for sharing it there. Susie near Bognor Regis. No, but okay, yeah, I know Bognor Regis. Many a time at Butlins there. But yeah, the soldiers involved admitted it, but we don't know if they're talking out their arse. That is the same credibility level as the individual American service personnel who have come forward and said it was a UFO and I've touched it. Both of those cases, we're relying on those as individuals, and both are officials. They both had rank and service history, so they're both kind of equal there. Who do you choose? I mean, personally, you kind of go to what is most plausible, don't you, as what we as individuals? But that's not the same as concretely locked in, as officially closed. And even then, they will close things, won't they, officially? I mean, think of the science they put forward, that there's no backing for it. Dark matter there as well. But yeah, you need a few different sort of data points around it to confirm. It's plausible. It's not silly to think that. But, you're taking one person's word over another person's word. And that's when our personal biases can lead us astray. And it's my parents-in-law are near Bognor in Rustington. There, God, my eyes tonight there. How you doing, trading cards? Good to see you back in. Yeah, no, not much tonight. Just lots of technical issues. It's been a weird one. There. Gareth as well. Good spotting, guys. And UFOs near the moon. Scorps. I've heard there's a paper, isn't there, put out there. Some scientists think that they may have tracked motherships around the moon. Something big in orbit now. Well, it's up for peer review, so we'll see how that one goes. Good spotting, 2 untracked ones there. We'll see how that one comes out, if anybody's got some good pushbacks. But the moon is the obvious place, isn't it? Yeah, the moon is the obvious place to put things. If you've travelled far away, if it is the extraterrestrials, the moon, you're right next to your target, and you're not going to get bothered by us there as well. And also, you don't have weather and shit like that to contend with there. And Alendro as well, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you there. And iFilm is in too. I know where I grew up. You grew up in Bognor Regis. A small world, isn't it? Butlins is a poop hole. It was. I remember those childhood holidays quite fondly. I don't know what it's like now, but yeah, it was pretty sketchy back then. And Lee, it would be good to rig up a laser or a light projector to emit a signal device up to the tracker to attract the UFO UAP attention. Bang on, Lee, you're bang on. So we don't want to use lasers because, well, they're very good. Lots of people report what's up in there. They do report that it's a really good cause and effect, can be really useful for that, so I'd like to, but we're right next to military training area, literally on the edge, and I have this paranoid theory that I'm going to go, oh, that's interesting, I'll start pointing a laser pen and attach Apache attack helicopter. So we don't do that, but we do have an option B, which is if I fire up my computer, where is it now? So if you've heard another way, obviously light is one way, but sound, ultrasonic sounds in particular, may have heard with the recent Skywatch stuff, the dog whistle there. The idea is that there's sort of ultrasonic tones, frequencies that the human ear cannot hear, but apparently they do have a cause and effect relationship in summoning in the craft. Apparently quite good. We haven't got it hooked up to the speakers yet. I need another little bit of kit, but I wonder if this is going to work. Yeah, it will work. Down here, that line will show you the waveform, because obviously ultrasonic, we're not going to be able to hear it. So this shows us when it's playing and what frequencies and what tones it's playing. Now the test tone you will hear. There we go. That was a bit... Why did that not come through my actual computer? Why is that being a bit of a sod tonight? Why are you not... Oh well, it's being a dick anyway. You can kind of hear it if I do that. The sound's not coming through, but yeah, you see the waveform and all that playing up there. So we've got various different tones, frequencies, patterns, all that sort of rates there and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, hopefully we should be able to start to include that and make this more active rather than just looking out, hoping to see something strange, see if we can catch them in there. And one docuseries said that there is a lighthouse near the forest, sometimes would shine a red. So there was literally on the other side, and it kind of line of sight, it does actually line up with these things, and the lighthouse is gone now. It's an orphaned nest, but I'd really have to, you know, it's been a while since I've been there, but the distances over that, it really isn't a good fit for me, especially with what the people were describing, you know, like with the lights physically reflecting off of the trees. It's too far away, you know. Maybe in the distance you'd see that, but it wasn't really what they were describing for me for that one. But there are some interesting angles on it around there as well. So you never know what it would work out to be, but that is where we're going to kick off our UK UFO hotspot tour, hopefully soon for that one. And Barry Island was the best Butlins. Is that still there now? And Ed as well, my parents, passed years ago though, sorry to hear that one there, but they did, my father told the story to a local before the ferry journey, and the local said they had reports of the UFOs, shaking cars and driving lights, so there is a local context for it. I have to look into the area. I wonder if that was a little place of a UFO flap and activity there as well. And what's the best? Bring a love and peace to them. Exactly, Recycle. I think you're totally right. How we approach whoever it is out there is going to... We don't want to be coming on overly aggressive or overly defensive. We also don't want to be overly open-armed, don't we? We can't be naive to these things. I don't know how mature humanity is to face them at all. Time is never terrible. You'll get there, Lucy. Take a bit of practice. You'll get there. And... Seal sketchy, not sure what it's like nowadays. Oh god, it would have been the early 90s the last time I went there. I hear about seedy adult holiday events they do there now. Well, good use of the grid. There is a faint one there, very faint. Good catch. And Ed's it'll be okay there with the lasers there. I used to use them on my telescope when I was viewing in the sky in Ainsbury. Oh, Ed's, well then, bang on. Yeah, that's, you know, around there. I don't know, I'm still nervous. There have been a few times when, before we had the old aircraft tracker, should we bring that one up? There we go. Let's see if before we had this, you know, I go, oh, what's that up there? That's really interesting. Especially we're doing the live on locations, and then it would move off and drop flares. You go, oh, shit, no, that was military. I don't trust myself there. Oh, was it a shooting star? I totally missed that one. And Rich, if it was a lighthouse, they would see it all the time. And like, exactly, there's things like that. It's very easy to write certain things off. You know, if aliens are the last answer on your list, then you're going to go, probably that. You know, and look, we'll all do that with wherever we lean. A lot of us will probably go, yeah, aliens first. It's the logical answer with it there. But it doesn't mean that any of those are the objective truth. And a lot of the time in situations like this, you're not going to get the data anymore. The time has passed. It just becomes interesting, you know, or it's a limited value data there. Referred to as UFO. But did it run carbon? Did it really, Ed? I've not heard of that one. Haverford. I'm going to have to look into that one a little bit more there. Oh, drifting flasher in A2. Too far behind on that chat. Sorry there. And Ed there, skeptic there. It's never aliens. But if it's never aliens, then you're going to be blocking it out, aren't you? There are plenty of anomalous things out there, but most of the time when people say it's never aliens, I see a lot of science stuff talking about that, and what they mean is we haven't got the technology to confirm that it's aliens. There's plenty of anomalous radio signals that look exactly like what we'd expect to come, to an alien radio signal to sound like, coming apparently from a deep space there, but we don't have the technology to confirm it. I think we get carried away. We think we just know everything. Like, I think the Fermi paradox is a great example of this. So I think of the hubris, and look, Fermi was obviously a great chap, and this was only an off-the-cuff comment, but we throw it around like toffee, because how the hell... Why would we know? Why do we think that we've got good eyes on everything, or good ears, or good data? We barely cover a lot of these things. How do we know that, would we realise an alien if it come up and slapped us in the face? I think we assume too much. Yeah, I think we're asking the wrong questions with those sorts of things. Should we spin the camera around? Should we see if we can get down here? Should we, spin the camera around? Sometimes there is a bit of a delay. It keeps disconnecting, coming in. We're having technical ones like there. It's too slow for the grid. Oh, no worries on those ones. And do aliens wonder why we sleep? They may do. Like evolution has given us sleep for a reason, but it might not be the only way to operate. Therefore, life. I mean, what else? What else doesn't sleep now? I mean, think of the other end. So you got hibernation and things like that. It would make sense that they don't, so maybe they don't. Space explorers from distant planets there, Susie Q. And it's logical. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is 100%, what is going on. But think of the size of the universe, the time that it has gone round. And if it is not fundamentally impossible to traverse these vast distances. One of the things is, the question is it possible for biological life to survive a long journey out there in space? And that is a very serious question. The more we look, the more it looks like this life is life is more resilient than we expected. So it's possible, but we don't know for sure yet. And again, when we have looked, we're still talking much shorter times in that sort of environment than a long distance trip. But maybe, as I said, a wormhole or warp drive doesn't break physics, so maybe they've figured that part out there. Good use of the grid, guys. So that could be an answer. But we don't have one ourselves, so we can't say for sure. But we're assuming life as we know it. Biological life in the, the carbon, but how we are there, and the limitations that puts on us there. But it's looking more and more likely, isn't it, that the plasmoids might be an answer to the part of the phenomena there. Again, totally different form of life than we have ever expected to see there. That is hopefully very close to being confirmed by mainstream scientists. It does feel, and again, that the rules wouldn't apply to that. Maybe that could just fuck around the galaxy as much as it wants. Doesn't have to worry about any of it there. And do they come when we sleep? Some people do say that. Would make sense as well. We tranquilize animals, don't we? As well. And Ed's on space weather. You can select flybys and identify each satellite or a rocket casing there. Can learn a lot of things of the light. So Ed, there's a few apps out there that are really good for that. One that we use was Stellarium, but where we move the camera around, it's been a right pain, and it's also slightly delayed. So we're trying to match some things up. We're trying to get the tracker to first be a little bit better than it's being tonight with its accuracy on the tracks. Once it's done that, it's recognizing the stars that are in shot. Once it's done that, it knows what's moving, where they're moving in the sky. We should be able to then bring in that data then to label these objects, so we can kind of write them off confidently. No, definitely man-made there as well. And it's a tool there, and apparently they're saying pulling a Mooney stems from the internet. Does it really? I do like where you hear where some of these have come from. You go, that's hilarious. And is it Sarah there? How are you doing that? I live in North Carolina, the Appalachian Mountains, US, and we have amazing dark skies. So we are able to see the UFOs darting through the sky there. We have a lot of flying UFO activity. I love that, Sarah. So thank you for sharing that. What's the best one that you have seen there? Do paint a picture. We want to hear about that one. The Appalachian Mountains as well. I would love to visit there. Like the weirdness that goes on up there, I think could be amazing. Have you experienced any of that as well? Not only is it a beautiful part of the world, but interesting too. And one thing is for sure there, we cannot be the only inhabited planet in this vast universe. Susie, bang on. And mainstream science actually agrees now. There was a time that we didn't know if there were planets around all of these stars that we are seeing in the night sky, but the technology, as it's improving, it's a flasher. We just one flash up there. Where's that bugger gone? Oh, there it is. Intermittent flasher.
Mode activated.
Whereabouts? Probably going to be a little bit further along. There it is. Very, very faint. So whatever that object is there running across the top, I'm hoping you can see that right on the edge there. Whatever that object is, where's my cursor, is probably rotating. It seems to be a rhythmic flash. So just like this is catching the light there, it is flash, no flash, flash, no flash, and doing that as it travels, basically. Which could be a satellite out of towards the end of its life there. They can sometimes do that. But yeah, mainstream science, now we know we're starting to find more planets. It's looking like there's planets around all of them, as logic would say, and therefore it is just a numbers game there. Even within our solar system, there is strong evidence, especially for Mars, that there is active, at the very least, microbial life on Mars. A few hints at Venus too, but I find it suspicious that the only 2 times that NASA put a life-detecting test on any of their probes, their missions out there in space, those 2 times, those tests came back 100% of the time positive for life on those ones. So it is a bit suspicious, isn't it? Oh, we can't trust it now. Why did you put them on there? And it's 100% result. Good use there. So I think it's out there. Not sure if it was the shooting star or the tracker being a dip. You never know. I think there's a life out there. It just isn't visiting us. Ed, I mean, that might be true. I mean, it's a very plausible position there. You know, I personally, from my experiences, I don't have direct evidence that that is the case. I have seen some very strange things that can't be satellites, you know, can't be shooting stars, can't be planes, drones, whatever it is. You know, you can filter out those. But what are they? Is it ET visiting from a different solar system? I don't know. I've not got the evidence to say that, but there's something strange going on. There is definitely something strange. And I do feel that, you know, I don't actually think the extraterrestrial component of the phenomena, because I think there'll always be some of that. There's just got to be with the numbers of the universe, visiting at least some point in our past. I don't lean currently that is the biggest part of the explanation. I think it is probably going to be the plasmoids, the sentient plasma life that's been here all along. We've just not recognised it because it's so different. I think that's going to be responsible for a hell of a lot there. And also, if the reports of the Greys, if that is, you know, correct there, then I would lean to them being us from the future or something along those lines. Not to say the other things aren't going on, but I think for me, with the limited data that is out there, that is the best shoe for the fit there. B2B, a good spot in Alan. And I visited Stone Henge a few years ago there, but sadly there were these huge stones blocking my view. I know, they should take them down, shouldn't they? Actually, we're going to do at some point, now we've got better kit, we're going to do the next bit of kit we need really for that one, but we are going to do a Skywatch live from Stone Henge there, because you can get quite close at night. So we'll have the stones just at the bottom of the screen, just the tops there, then the night sky over. It's going to be absolutely fucking phenomenal. Long history of crop circles, orbs, all that sort of strange stuff there. So I'm very, very excited to do that one. That's where it all goes, guys, where all the gifts and subs, the members, all that jazz goes into upgrading those things too. And good spot in there, Matty, and I love sleep there. If there is an alien civilization that just sleep all the time, and that's their life, and I want to join them, there probably is. You look at how life is here on Earth, and as what we have of record, how strange it has been, and all of the weirdness that's gone on over the years with evolution. Like, it's always rolling the dice. It doesn't really care if it thinks it's going to work. It's just, let's give it a go all of the time. So you wouldn't be surprised that there isn't something out there. You know, maybe our sense of time is going to be totally off compared to the universal baseline. You know, maybe their day and night cycle is 1,000 years for us there. Maybe they preserve energy for very long periods of time. Maybe they're on a binary star system with a really strange eccentric orbit, and they go so far away from their star system on a regular basis that their whole species hibernates for like 1,000 years until it comes back around. You know, evolution, that's probably going on somewhere out there. It was just a roll of the dice. Thing branded dice in the shop. I thought it might have been a yellow colour, but could be wrong there. Maybe. And technological civilizations are probably rare and destroy themselves before they're advanced enough to go interstellar. I mean, that's one of the theories, isn't it, of why they say that we don't see them. But I just don't buy that we're not seeing it. Why's the line jumping? I don't buy that we're not seeing it, because I just don't think we're looking enough. You know, we have very limited sensors up there, and the sensors that we do have keep coming back with the things that we're looking for. Like SETI, the radio signal hunting group, they're looking for alien radio signals. They purposely block signals that they think are too perfect. And it's like, lads, you know, you've got to look at them. You got to look at them, lads. That, you know, too good to be true. Probably is still going to be too good to be true. It probably won't be real, but you've still got to look at them, because you're definitely not going to fucking find it then. I mean, like that is, so I don't think we know enough that they're definitely not out there. But you know, that could be a bit, and it's not just you know, the geographical, is it? You know, are they on these stars that we can see in our close environment? Are we close by? Could they physically travel from A to B? It's also in time. Do we all exist at the same time? Do we live enough closest in space and close in time? There are all sorts of things to work out. But I think, you know, those early indicators of our galaxy that there is life bloody everywhere. It might not be complex life, you know, it's bacterial, but if 3 planets in a row do turn out to have life in a solar system, well, then life is bloody everywhere. And if it's bloody everywhere, then it really is absolutely everywhere. And there's going to be more chance for the complex and things there as well. Because you've got to remember that unless we know otherwise, Earth probably isn't rare. And if it's not rare, the evolutional steps of the life on those other planets, they're going to go through similar things. Now, that I can imagine they could definitely take some totally different turns, they definitely will, but it will mean that it's quite highly likely that a lot of them will come to the same conclusion there, to a degree, with convergent evolution there. In a short, but they may be. I mean, look to how long that humanity has been here on Earth. Again, so far, it is just a blip. It is a short burst, and it always looks like we're on death's door, doesn't it? We're going to always blow ourselves up. So it might be a possibility. There's a nice untracked one down there. So it might be. You know, it's not something that we can definitely disprove. But I think the bias for that doesn't come from a scientific point. You know, you hear all the scientists all the time talking about this. Where's the evidence? Where's the aliens? You're not looking. But when you do look, guys, you chuck that information away. It's a pretty quick one there. A flash out is usually a tumbling, a rocket casing. It could well be there, because anything that is tumbling like that, if it's rhythmic and it's, you know, there's no friction up there, so the rate of its rotation is going to remain roughly the same, and it causes those repeated flashes around up there. I find the ones, again, it's not slam dunk, definitely, but we've seen a few times where there'll just be like a totally random flash pattern, and you're like, what is the shape of that object to cause that totally random flash pattern there? And we had one once that on each flash it was a different colour, like a really distinct red, blue, green, red, blue, green, or whatever the order was. And you're thinking, obviously whatever the surface is, that can change, you know, the colour that's been reflected back. But I don't know of any sort of thing like that that's going to have such a distinct thing to send such strong colours for those. It's really interesting. And the stationary flashing as well. Can't forget that one. Very, very odd. Everything should be moving and in motion. And Lee there, I read once that there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth there. Mind-boggling. It really is. It's like when they talk about how many trillion, billions or whatever it is. And I'm like, all right, I know the number, but I've got no mental reference point for how vast that is there. Oh, and I used to work for a certain space company in Guildford there, and was a present for a few launches of our systems there. Not allowed to talk about, Eds, I wish you could. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. That is some cool experience there. Just enough there. We want to know all of the things exactly. You got to skirt around it. What you can get away with, Eds. And why send a probe? That can be called into question there. It's either a yes or a no to a life. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I think that's why they don't send it up there now. I think that is why the scientists, especially in the SETI fields, will write off signals that they don't have enough data to, because they don't want the question. You know, they don't want all of us going, hey, how many fingers has ET got? They don't want the embarrassment of being proved wrong, which I get. It's very, very human, but it's also not scientific. You know, if you're going, look, we've got this radio signal, but it's probably man-made interference, and our evidence for that is, well, we can't match it to any satellite and we can't get a repeat of it. That isn't evidence for it being anomalous, is it? You know, that is evidence, if anything, you've filtered out the obvious man-made ones. Now, we can't say for sure that it's alien 100% there. We don't have that. It has to sit in the middle ground, but they're not comfortable with that, with it. So I think you're right. There's the NASA as well. There were ways that they could have gone and confirmed that, but they don't want to now. They don't want the ambiguity. But the problem is, like with the label release experiments, with the ones that, you know, the ones that come up with the positive results, is the reason at the time that was brought into question was because there were other experiments on those landers as well, and they were looking for, I think it was organics in the soil of Mars. And at the time, we didn't think that, you know, life could exist without organics in the soil. And those other tests came back negative for organics in the soil of Mars. So they went, well, the other test has to be fake. But the funny thing is that NASA knew that test wasn't particularly sensitive, so gave lots of false results for it. And also, the label release experiment that was the life detecting test had 100% success rate and still does for detections. But we now know life does not need organics, but also that there is organics in the material. Oh, that's a shooting star right there. Well, I caught that one. But there is organics in the soil of Mars as well. They just kind of haven't gone and updated it because they just don't want the ball ache, do they? From it, which again isn't scientific for me. I think there's because that's the thing. You hear it all the time. There's no evidence for alien life out there. There's no conclusive single piece of evidence, but we don't have the technology to confirm that with where we are. But there's plenty of circumstantial evidence that points that probably this is worth looking into, so I think bang on there, Ed. And Norfolk News confirmed last week that the RAF had a near miss with a UAP, a UFO off the coast. Really did it there, Trino. 16,000 foot. Very interesting. A lot of the US stuff is coming out as well, so no wonder that we're all coming into that. We're a bit late to the party, but there's something strange going on, isn't there? Andy as well there, how are you doing? And a couple of years ago, 2 triangle ships flying low through the Asheville NC. Excuse me, and it's the no sound thing that many strange things happen in these mountains. And check out the Cherokee Indian folklore videos. So this is really interesting, talking about the Cherokee, the Indian folklore there. The phenomena that we're all talking about nowadays, guys, has been spoken about since the dawn of time. You look back to a lot of the old religious texts, old religious cultures there. You think around the world, the Cherokee here in this case, but folklore, religion, and nowadays is the modern ufology there. If you look at not the interpretation that us as humans are putting on that, how we're trying to understand it with the tools that we have and the culture of the time, but what were the sightings? Lights in the sky. Moving strangely, little people taking people away, missing time, what now looks like radiation burns is another big one. All of that, you look back, again, different interpretations of what they thought it was, but it's all the same thing. It's like it's been going on for a very, very, very long time. Now, maybe some of those are more accurate than others, but I do think it's no coincidence, is it, that our modern UFO era was kicked off just at the time that we were looking up to the stars as a species, thinking about sending men to distant planets and in metal spaceships. And then, what's that? What could this phenomena be? Maybe it is little green men from distant planets there crashing in metal spaceships. This is a cool one. No excuse for it to not be tracked, though. That is bright enough. Very, very cool to see that one. Keep your eyes on it. Remember, we need to see it stop dead, shoot off at speed to change its course or trajectory for us to know for sure that it is something highly anomalous. Thank you for sharing those ones, Sarah. And Roscoe, how are you tonight there? Did you see the Ukrainian scientists have published a paper yet to be peer-reviewed, but saw multiple 22-mile-long UAPs moving across and around the moon there? Absolutely mind-blowing. So I haven't read the paper. I've seen the headline, and I'm looking forward to this one. There was one time, I don't know who it was, there's somebody in the Ukraine at the beginning of the Ukraine war, and they put out again a paper because they thought they were seeing UFOs, and it turned out it was something to do with the artillery shells to do with the war, and it was there was a mistake of angles, and it turned out it could be this. So I'm always on the fence, but the moon is the perfect place to put these things. This is the thing. If you've travelled all this way, maybe in space, but also maybe in time, or however, and you want to hang around locally, you need a planet. You need a little parking spot, somewhere you're not going to be bothered, but yet you're still quite close by. The moon is perfect for that one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more on that one. And going back in our time now, does anyone remember the Hubble? And does it still exist? Hubble's still up there, Susie. Hubble's still up there, done a lot of good work there. There goes a little model of Hubble. That's what she looks like up there. Needed its glasses. Did you know Hubble was an unused CIA spy satellite? They didn't want it, and they went, "Hey NASA, do you want this?" I went, "Yeah, just point it the other way and it'll work a treat." The triangular satellite formation, yeah, that's that one as well. Three together. Was it on screen tonight? Bollocks, I missed that one. Starlink there went through C4, 3 of them. Ooh, totally missed that one off on Morant's there. And definitely come visit us across the pond there. My grandmother, Lindley, is a family is from England, really. And I'd love to visit there someday. Hey, we're always welcome across the pond. Yeah, one day we've got our plans, guys, our ambitions, which is we want to do our UK UFO hotspot tour, Rendlesham Forest, Bonnie Bridge in Scotland, a lot of the places in Wales. The Cannock Chase is another interesting one. Obviously here where we are, a couple of the moors as well that have reports. We want to do that one. But the big pipe dream, the pie in the sky dream, is like an international tour. So like, Roswell, the gates of Area 51 are as close as we can get without getting shut off to do our live Skywatches from. But we'd have to do something over your way as well. Spare Ribs back, how are you there? And I want to circling up in northwest Norfolk, and I'm a person in London. I thought it was a helicopter after about 15 minutes, and the light stopped moving and zipped off. I can't explain it. It's things like this, Trino. This has been seen for the longest time, and we don't have good explanation. Especially if you're confident on the altitude as well, like if you're up at like the satellite height, then nothing can move like that up there. Obviously, we have modern day drones now. There's a little bit of a grey area, but normally there are still signs. My husband's a Yeti there, Kate. And Ed there, Bigfoot in the UK. I some people do talk about it. I'm not sold on it just yet. Mainly because I still lean to Bigfoot in like the classic sense of unrecognized version of early man or adjacent,
Zoom mode activated.
sapien or something like that, or undiscovered ape. But that's the most logical one for me at the minute. I know there's millions of other theories, but in the UK, I go, it's just not big enough to have them hide. Maybe though. And let's hope the DMS gas on Venus turns out to be a biological there. DMS is usually a product of life. So that is one of the signs, isn't it, that it could be. But it's not conclusive. This is the thing. It's very exciting when we get these signals, isn't it? But it isn't in of itself. It isn't necessarily conclusive because it can be produced. I mean, same with some of these exoplanets now. I know the one that gets the attention is K218b, and that was an exoplanet that there is a Cambridge University team out there. Oh, there's a faint one there. That keeps saying, look, no, we are getting detections of, is it phosphine? A gas in the atmosphere of this distant exoplanet, so a planet around one of these stars, basically. They could detect in gas in the atmosphere. As far as we know, it's only produced by biological life. Now, that is very, very interesting. It's heavily contested because, again, we're just at the beginning of being able to detect this with the equipment that we have. It's not very strong yet, so it's an early indicator, so we can't say for sure, but they're pretty confident at it. So I think when we get new kit comes online, another faint one, good spotting. When the new kit comes along, hopefully we're going to be able to confirm this as well. But I think this is the thing that that in of itself is evidence that there could be. It's not conclusive, but it is evidence to build the case for it, isn't it? It's very, very exciting. But Mars is ridiculous there. The amount of life things. Not only the stuff that they're showing us now about the patterns in the rocks that look to be. Evidence of historic microbial life, but also you had the label release experiments there. You've also got weird things like the seasonal methane plumes, so they actually detect when it's hotter on Mars, when it's in season in gas in the sun, that more methane is released, which is exactly what you'd expect from bacteria getting the heat from the sun, thriving for a bit, producing more waste product. Again, it's not conclusive, but there's that, and there's something else to do with the soil as well that it's just another one of these clues that you go, there's quite a few here, and then you look at the argument against it and all of the individual justifications for why life wouldn't be there. We don't know if there's liquid water there, boom. We don't know if it is, boom. All of that stuff there, they're starting to chip them away. So it's just about putting it across the line, I think, there. And Wax is there. What type of camera are you using, or is it a smart scope? So it is a camera, good spot. It's a Sony A7 there with a very, very good lens. Sorry, I get your nose tonight. They're pointed up to the night sky alive over Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of crop circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. Lots of strange things there. And Sarah, so I personally haven't had any Bigfoot experiences, but there have been many stories passed down generations. There are some other creatures living here too. Apparently, yeah, we had a regular. I haven't seen her in a while actually. I hope she's all right. B was that sort of way as well. Problem is when we talk about anywhere in America, we say nearby, and it could still be like 100,000 miles difference. The size of the country there is just mind blowing, especially for us here. We're a tiny country. Go up atop of a 5-story building, and you can kind of see the other side of the UK. But Yeah, it's there's lots of weird stuff, and this is, we always think that we know everything, that we've got eyes and ears everywhere, and it's like we really don't. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of gaps to hide in. Spare my snores like a warthog. So does Leanne. It's a nightmare. And I was discussing with a friend the other day that there could be an alien civilization out there that is 1 billion years more advanced than us, and their tech would look like impossible magic to us. Bang on, it really would. Like, you know, we're only even looking for the signs that we can conceive of, that our brains can go, well, this is the sort of the signs that we make with our technology. And this is what we can imagine in 10, 100 years' time it might look like. But there are so many things that we just, our minds, you know, we don't listen out for wormholes or warp drives being used. We actually think, the scientists have done the maths, and they go, there would be signs that when a warp bubble collapses, there'll be certain waves emitted that we could, we could listen out for those, but we don't. We don't have the sensors to do it. We could build them. It's not that hard, but there is no budget or no appetite for it. So again, we can't say that there isn't a civilization out there using advanced tech. Again, warp drives, wormholes, sounds very science fiction-y, but they are theoretically very, very possible. Nice bright one there. Tracker seems to be totally given up tonight. But yeah, totally possible. But yeah, we're just not looking out there. We are all used to the strange sounds you hear at night in the mountains there, but when someone comes from a big city to visit, they usually get pretty scared. Yeah, I totally would, I reckon. It's actually 10,000 stars per grain of sand on Earth. Oh my god, the amount of that, it's a lot. It's a lot. My brain then taps out. And be far, there was 3 anomalies at the same speed moving together. All good spotting for that one. So is that what you mentioned, Kate, there with the triangular formation? So there is a formation of satellite up there, a constellation, and it's 3 dots basically, and it's something to do with a gravitational wave detector, some sort of science experiments up there. It's very interesting because it catches us out. You got to see when it comes across, double check that the stars behind it aren't getting blocked out, because we saw it once, actually about this time of year. So we saw it once where it was blocking out the stars, so implying that it was actually like a physical solid object with the light in each corner, much like the classic triangular craft sightings there. But yeah, most of the times when we see that sort of guy, I just think it's those ones. It doesn't block out the stars there. And there is a stretch of the east coast, I believe, up in North Yorkshire, known to have the cryptids, and one of them is very similar to Bigfoot. Is that the Bempton area? Because I'm hearing more and more about that sort of place. Then Carl, you're back. How are you doing tonight, Carl? Good to see you. I know you were in earlier. We're all good. Lots of technical difficulties tonight, so apologies, guys. It's a little bit rough around the edges for a normal show, but obviously it's just one of those nights, so we'll have to fight the technology. But I'm sure it'll go back to normal for tomorrow. Also, remember, we're going to be doing our next deep dive, so if you are a Patreon member, I think 10 of you guys got Paul, Sir Paul of members there, very, very kindly gifted you guys 10 memberships there, so you'll be able to join us for tomorrow's deep dives. That's what they look like. We look to whistleblower accounts, leaked documents there, declassified documents, all the latest stuff from the US there, as like a private thank you to our members and Patreons. Read it through if you guys hear what you think in real time, and tomorrow we're going to do in the National Institute for Discovery Sciences archived website, see what evidence there is of the highly strange up there. That was the group run by Robert Bigelow, who got the government contract to look into things, including Skinwalker Ranch. So we're going to see what treasures there may be hiding on that website with you guys live. It's called doing our UFO homework. I always find it quite cool, because then you will see where these things are mentioned. You're like, I've read that, and I now know what that means, and I don't think that's correct, you know. And if life on Earth started by sunlight suspended on carbon and amino acids in water, so that's what they think, isn't it? There, but we don't know that for sure. Like, that is the leading theory, but we are unlikely to ever get direct evidence of that, just because the way the Earth is, do it there. But there is more and more evidence now that actually it probably started at the very least somewhere else. Another scientific paper came out recently, and they had basically looked at how long it takes for life, as we understand evolution at the minute, for life to go from sort of single cell to complex and to where we are. And there hasn't been enough time, if this paper is correct, that is, hasn't been enough time. We're about 2 billion years short of life. And, oh God, so went in my eye then. we're at 2 billion years short. But funnily enough, Mars was habitable for 2 billion years before Earth was there. And we know we exchange rocks and stuff like that, because another point that life may not have started here on Earth, or at least that life isn't a rare circumstance of events, is that life actually started well before the scientists thought that Earth was habitable, before that it cooled down enough. But no, immediately, boom. So it's kind of like it was everywhere. It's floating around, probably panspermia. And then, as soon as it was able to stick, it did, which would, again, lend theories from it coming from somewhere else. But yeah, for the longest time, we've been looking to try and figure out how life started on Earth. But there's many different theories. There's the RNA, the molecules kind of bonding like that, maybe in the intertidal zones there, the right amount of water plus heat from the sun, and those chemicals just magically produce RNA, which then evolved into DNA and stuff like that. But it is still the science's best guess. But it is by not confirmed, so we have to kind of keep a little window open for other possibilities. And it is starting to look, the panspermia argument is actually really, really looking like an interesting one. I've come around now from being it probably just does start on Earth to actually, I think the evidence is pointing for, at the very least, Mars. I just don't think that life is rare. There has to be evolution on far-off planets. Well, as far as we know, this is the thing, Earth is the one data point that we do have of detail. We have really studied a lot of stuff here on Earth, so it's not guaranteed that everything will act like that. Evolution itself might not fully act as it does here on Earth, but it's probably a good starting point. Just make sure we're not ignoring evidence of other things should we see it. But if we do look to Earth, look how diverse life is. Look how there's a species, an organism for every niche, every part of the environment. Evolution is always rolling the dice. Why would it be any different anywhere else? The things that have limited us before have been like, well, how would life get from A to B? But panspermia is well believed to be more than possible. We know we transfer rocks constantly, but can bacteria survive? Well, at the time when those first floated, we didn't know, but all sorts of forms of life have been tested now for their resilience, and it's getting, I think even fruit flies are incredibly resilient. Now, that's a very complex form of life. So I don't necessarily think that, we came here fully evolved, although you can make an interesting argument there. But definitely in a more simpler sense to life's betrayal. It's very, very plausible. But, that's something that we won't know. God, I don't even know if you could ever prove it. Even if you found life on Mars, looking at the grid, good use, guys. Yeah, there's a few coming in there and there. But even if you found life on Mars and you check it out, and you go, oh God, it's the same strain as life here on Earth, then, you couldn't, you go, which way first? Was it Earth sharing rocks with Mars? Was it Mars sharing rocks with Earth? You wouldn't necessarily know with those ones. I suppose unless you had fossils from Mars that were that same sort of life that were for early on. Maybe you could do it like that. And what annoys me is finding life. Is the most important question to humanity, and NASA hasn't sent another life testing probe for 50 years there. What possible reason do they have this? Ed, bang on. And this is what most people want. And I think we mentioned this earlier. They are scared to, because they know the stick they would get from their friends. I don't think our technology is able to convince everyone. It's not going to be conclusive enough there. I actually would argue the difference with Mars. I think we could definitely do that one quite easily. But they don't want to put their neck out there and then get grilled, because I think when they did announce the Viking stuff for the positive test result there, they got such a grilling from it that they went, oh, right, now we need to be 110% sure now, which obviously you can't be 110% sure, especially when we're working at these distances. Good use of the grid. Zoom in this one. These distances, you can't. You've just got to go, it's looking like this, and then deal with all of the press and us lot asking. That's just the nature of the beast. But I think it's a very human reason. I think it's just they don't want to deal with the pressure or the risk of it there. For last night as well there. See, I didn't spot any last night, but I did see Kate did a good clip of the shooting stars. Can only find one. There you go. Only find one of last night's footage, and I know there were more. Trying to find them. Don't stress too much. There will be more. And I often wonder if other planets are like Earth, if people are living on them. So this is the thing, isn't it? There's going to be, if there's one bit of life, it's either the case that life is rare, or it's not, and it's everywhere. And at which point, if it's everywhere, because of the scale of the things, there's definitely going to be very, very, very close analogues to us, and there's also going to be things that are just totally different that we can't even get our heads around there. But I think, look, this is when we can look to the UFO phenomenon, the reports there, that a lot of what is reported does look very, very, very humanoid. So maybe, you know, this sort of structure, this build, this layout is going to be advantageous for intelligent life on similar planets, maybe. Small Town Monsters here on Tubes have some fantastic videos from Appalachia. I need to give them more time. I've had a couple of their videos, but they're not in my regular rotations. I'll have to give them another look. Flash NCV Ed, I'm sorry I'm so far late behind those ones, guys. And I can tell you I sent the update patch to Hubble in 2018. Did you read Ed's? That is awesome. That is awesome. Having that claim to fame there, like to have just direct connection with all of these things, that is so cool. I love that as well. Any idea, Ed? It's actually a good question for you here, right? Because if you're in this sort of industry, we keep seeing a stationary flashing. We haven't seen it in a few months now, but it's not near the equator. In fact, it's normally quite high up, so can't tell you the exact inclination. It's quite hard, but it will flash back to us over the course of a stream, like a 2-3 hour stream, once every 17 minutes. Once every 2 minutes sometimes, but it's a regular flash from pretty much bang on that same part of the night sky for the whole of the stream. But you know, when we check, there's no geostationary satellites around there, and it gets like a rocket booster in orbit or something. I wouldn't have thought things that far away could really flash the light back to us. We had somebody who had a very similar job to you, and he was basically saying that the part of the sky there is no geostationary satellites there. But I'm struggling to think of any other explanation for it. Taking the time there. Thank you, Kate, for that. Giving up trying to catch them. It can be a bit of a trick there. Oh, you never left there. I thought somebody said hello to you recently. And the slightest distraction, and you all fall out of the zone. Oh, definitely. I really do. What's the crown next to your name? That is a good point. What is the crown next to your name? I don't know. Is it top chatter, maybe? That is a... Oh, yeah. So, yeah, who's most active? It looks like you're the most active in the chat there, Lethal. You get the crown. There was a day when Raph would be fighting for that. King Lethal, yeah. And Pierre there, how are you doing from Portugal there? And if you pay attention on the D1, it looks like there is something on the right that some objects disappear when they pass there. D1, let's have a look at that one, right. Keep an eye out for that. Thank you for the heads up there, Pierre. Watching the screen and reading the chat, it knocks you out. Does it really? You can't do it two at once there. I'll catch you later, Raph. That's because he's lost his crown. I have to dash and walk the dog. Oh, Eds, hopefully we'll catch you on another night there. Good to have you in. And the rock formations on Mars, that looked like they had caves. There is so much now on from these images we're getting from the surface of Mars that look really, really interesting. Like, you know, I can kind of see that. Back in the day, it was almost like, oh, you had to squint and look at it and you go, lads, I think you're just finding patterns that you don't, you know, you're seeing what you wanted there. But a lot of the stuff that's coming out now, you're going, that's a full-on cylinder. There ain't no. What is that? There is some really, really interesting things there. And again, look, now Mars we know was habitable. Look, and if there is biological life there, how much is the leap that it once had some form of complex and intelligent life there? That's not that far, is it? It does change the game for it. And I think I'm very, very bullish that there is life on biological life still active on Mars there. And Dawder back on the phone there. The Howie was moaning that the iPad was too bright. He just wants his own, Dawder. That's what it is. You can comment again. And one of the only paranormal things that works is a dowsing. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of the stuff there, isn't there? That you know, a lot of it could probably be quite hokey. You know, it's hard to test a lot of this stuff there. Dowsing is an interesting one. Again, no experience personally with it, so I cannot really comment. But I have heard so many accounts from, you know, the normal people out there, the lay person, of things like this. Like everybody I know in sort of like construction or anything like that, they've all got a story, and none of them are this, but they will say, oh, we couldn't find that drain once, and then the old dowsing rods come out. Or, you know, you talk to somebody on the waterboard, and there'll be somebody with dowsing rods like there. Like, there is something going on, you know, and just because humans haven't figured out how it works doesn't mean that it doesn't. You know, especially, you know, it's like with science, oh, we haven't detected alien life yet, you know, my main argument on that one. But the other argument is that, well, how many man hours are spent by scientists? How much money is spent by scientists looking? Sod all. In fact, officially, no money is spent on it, not from governments or anything like that. So, if you're not looking at it, lads, and no wonder you can't explain it. Doesn't mean it's not there. That's very different to if they've looked and they've proven something actually doesn't work. Then that's a totally different story. But they haven't done a lot of root there. Surely move because of the person's hands. So I've seen. It's really interesting. I think that can be part of it. I definitely think it can be. But I wouldn't say it was all, because there does seem to be like a strange correlation with success of it there. There is, whether it's a water main or something like that. Exactly, we can only comprehend with our human brains. Escape, bang on. We are limited. The chances that our brain, which is essentially a computer, can process base reality is not guaranteed, and probably very unlikely. We don't have the sensors to perceive the base reality, so why would we have the processing power for it? We have only evolved to have what we need to survive, just about. Anything more than that was too expensive to run in calories, so there's no point in having it. So yeah, we're seeing a snapshot of reality. It isn't an objective reality. We are seeing parts of it. There may be many more things out there that we just can't even conceive of there. Skeptical doesn't. More specifically, the people are using them. This is the thing, isn't it? There is the thing, and then there's the human of it as well. And it's a very useful distinction, because it's the same with science and scientists, right? As a generalized group. So science as the process of making a measurement and an observation to know something's happening for fact. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Scientists, potential to be flawed. Obviously not all scientists are going to be all bad, anything like that, but that's the human level of it, with it as well. So, and the same is true for us on our side as well. We are not immune to those things. At best, if you have Parkinson's, Grandmaster, he's getting loads of hits. He's going all over the shop. And Homo sapiens evolved from Africa, lethal. Haven't they? They're contesting that one now, aren't they? The out of Africa theory. That was for the longest time thinking of man came out of Africa, but I think there's now questions. Now again, we're getting more details of the genetic record and more of our history there. I think Asia is looking more likely or something. Again, are we reconnecting? Oh, guys, did you see that cut out and the shooting star just there? I'm glad it came back in for that. That was a cool one. Yeah, there we go. Mods, make sure you're able to tap in the shooting star counter for that. Jesus, that was a cool one. But yeah, science tells you these things as if they've looked at the full picture, but a lot of the time they've only got a few individual frames of the film. Think about a 2-hour blockbuster at the cinema. How many feet and feet of those individual film cells there? There's thousands and thousands of those cells making up that whole picture. And science might look at a handful of them and then go, right, well, based on this is what we think. And look, it's a good place to start. You've got to start where you are with what you've got. But you can't then tell me, if you've watched the first few scenes of Bambi, that this is a happy-go-lucky film. No, you've got to watch to the end. It's much more complex than that, like that. So this is the thing, as we get more technology, this is why it always gets updated, doesn't it? Go, oh, actually, now we know this. What was there as well in the genetic record? There was a whole population of humans that we have no archaeological record for, no cultural reference or references on, somewhere in North Africa, but they've now been discovered in the genetics. They were just wiped out at some point. What was the story there? I'll catch you later there, Alan, as always. I need alien style standard emojis. I can't do that. I can't change YouTube. That's a long way of saying that Earthlings are the red-headed stepchild of the universe. I like it there. And life edited at start on episode. Jenny, that's not fact. That's not fact. It might be true, but it isn't fact. It is the best explanation that the mainstream science has at the minute, but it is definitely heavily contested there. But then they don't have direct evidence of that. It's just with the bit threat, so it is not fact. And this is the difference. This is exactly the problem with how science presents itself, because it tells as if that is 100%. But what that is their best working guess. And that's how they talk to each other. They say, this is the evidence we've got at the minute. But to us on the street, they'll go, this is presenting it as if it's like a rock hard fact. But it isn't. It is their best guess for that one. We do not actually have direct evidence of that. It's quite late onto the chain that we start to get records of life on Earth, of those things. So it can be much, much more a complicated story than that. Now, it is still very plausible that life did start here on Earth, and you've got to be fair as well. We are unlikely to be able to get that evidence, you know, of the initial first forms of life or whatever it was, because, you know, that sort of life doesn't really preserve in the fossil record, plus with the plate tectonics and stuff. Again, it's very unlikely to find that one. So they will be, you know, unlikely to be able to confirm that. It doesn't mean it didn't happen here on Earth, but it also doesn't mean we do not have scientific evidence, like a conclusive evidence of that. Again, you can look at our trees, you know, genetic trees and all the lineage like that, universal common ancestor. We can trace it all down and say, look, there does look to be a connection here. But again, a lot of that thinking comes from the fact that they assumed life couldn't be on other planets because, again, they didn't have evidence of that at the time. It's like with the age of humanity. How many times are we pushing back the age of humans when we're finding older and older fossils, which is great. But the problem is a lot of the fossils that they find out there are not distinguishable necessarily from human bones. So we could actually have in our museum stores bones that have been, you know, attributed to Neanderthal and all sorts of other species. But because it wasn't a tooth that's, you know, clearly distinctly human, or a foot bone, that's another one, or hands as well, they're clues that they're human. What they do is when they have it's a leg bone, it's a femur or something like that, they go, oh, this is a leg bone, it looks to be about 500,000 years old. Well, humans weren't around back then, so it can't be human. We'll assume it's Neanderthal or something like that. And it's like, well, like, what? No, yeah, you just because it's not been proven. No. You've got to look around. Now, obviously, like in that case, they can't say it definitely is human, but you have to put it in the unknown pile, because we constantly keep pushing it back. It's more than possible the humans were around for those points and stuff. But yeah, it's like what science tells us, it isn't quite right. It can't be too hard on ourselves. Got to fluff it out a bit. Exactly. I start relatively easy. Look at Earth. Jenny, I'd 100% say that. I would 100% say that life starts probably relatively. It's one of the options, isn't it? There, it doesn't mean that, you know, life. You know, life could have started here independently on Earth, could have started independently on Mars, could have started independently on Venus. You know, or you know, it's just generally starting off. They call it. Oh my God, I've forgotten the word for it there. Abiogenesis, life starting from its own zero, basically there. And it could well have started here, but I think the speed, and there's certain clues, like that paper there talking about the missing 2 billion years, and then you look to Mars, which had 2 billion years. It starts to make you go, was it, you know, did it start that quickly here? It's possible, but we don't have direct evidence for it yet. Everything's easy in hindsight. Oh God, yeah, it really is. They're the wonders of that there. But if life did start on Mars, then how did we get here? Well, lethal. It could be something called panspermia. It's the idea that essentially planets sneeze on each other. We're constantly sharing rocks with other planets in our solar system. We have a lot of Martian meteorites. We've got a lot of moon meteorites, and likewise there are them on Earth and Venus as well. I mean, Venus these days is quite hard for anything to leave its surface with those pressures. But it is possible. So if there was life on Earth, you know, bacteria in the rock, it could survive those long distances. So, and again, there was the Alan Hall's meteorite there. It was a Martian meteorite that they picked up. And Kennedy came out on the White House lawn and said, hey, look, this looks like there is fossilized bacteria in this meteorite from Mars. And then later other people came in and went, actually, that bacteria could just be a natural formation, that fossil. It might not be a fossilized bacteria, but you look at it again, it does look a lot like that. Again, it's not conclusive, but you know, it is definitely theorized that, you know, they could, certain types of bacteria and organisms can survive the transfer in space. And if we are sharing these rocks about, then it's just a numbers game if we've been sharing it the whole time, rather than if it is a rare set of circumstances, you know, that of chance to cook life. Because the other question is, isn't it, that if life happens so easily, why don't we see it popping up on the beaches, you know, in these tidal pools anyway? You know, all life that we've found to date on Earth seems to be related, seems to come back from a single point with it there. But it's definitely complex. We don't have, do we, the answers 100%, so it's all theory to a relative degree. Stop spinning the rock there. I want to get off. Oh, don't make me think about it. It gives me the vertigo. And looking like a seed spreading. Exactly there. And Gribbage, how are you doing tonight there? Lots of sats tonight. It's a little bit quieter actually tonight, but I think the moon's up there. The universe will be teeming. Jenny, bang on. I think it will be. I really do. Really do. Again, you know, it's where we're starting from that point of, well, we haven't directly observed it yet, so we don't know it's true, which is a fair point to start from. But also, don't then, you know, you're just defaulting to another bias there. I think it's fair for us to come from the other way, especially if you look at the evidence we have. You know, literally exactly as you said, Jenny, like life starting on Earth as early as it was. The range and the species, I think the universe is going to be alive. And that's the point there. Some burn up there, some start and fall. Hold on, where are we down here? Some reckon the scars on Mars could have been a nuclear event. So, Buffy, yeah, that is another very interesting data point. There are elements on Mars that, as far as we know, we're understanding chemistry, physics, all this shit, that can only be made in a high-speed nuclear reaction there, so a hydrogen bomb that's there, or a supernova. And you go, well, supernova, that's a space thing. That's an obvious way for these elements to have appeared in high abundance on Mars. The problem is supernova are very broad, so if Mars had been exposed to a supernova, the rest of the solar system would have been, and we don't have any evidence of that there. So the only thing as far as we're aware of, is going to be a high-speed nuclear reaction. But the amount of those chemicals that we are getting, those elements that we are detecting are they're so high. They're so high. But it does seem to be that there's like a blast zone. Oh, good use of the grid there, guys. It does seem to have been a blast zone. So I just looking suspiciously onto my computer screen to see if it's still... That is very, very weird. Yeah, it seems to have been a blast zone, like radius. You can see where the shockwave went round and kind of bounced its way back around Mars. So there's all this sort of, and it's over the Cydonia region where the Mars face is meant to be, where the pyramid structures are. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense there. It's a very compelling case. John Brandenburg talks about this. That's the point there. Some start and fail, and then there's at least one that makes it work with the available resources. Yeah, it's how seeds work, isn't it? Exactly as you're saying there. You know, it only takes one out of the batch to do it. That's why there's so many sperm, all that sort of stuff. And we can look to that, can't we? That's how nature spreads life here within Earth, as we understand it. Why would it be different in the galaxy, in the solar system? If we're the only ones, then why would there be other planets that we can't get to and other galaxies? I think so. Okay, most things have purpose there, Carl. I totally with that. And some make it through the dormant until the right environment is found. So again, I think it was the fruit flies that they. Oh no, there was. Well, you get in do another example. The bacteria that is, or the viruses that are in the, might be bacteria, might be viruses, can't remember, that they're getting from the Russian permafrost that's melting now. They have survived and they've reanimated themselves after defrosting after 40,000 years. That is crazy for life to be able to do that. Like sperm, bang on, okay. So yeah, life is more resilient and more open to these things. Oh, do we have a bug? It's not Leanne playing up again there. There are 2 rovers still active on Mars. There very, very much is. If only they had life-finding missions on them. And what about the dark side of the moon there that we never see? So the moon is weird. The moon is very, 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 very weird. And there's some interesting people now that are looking at all of the available photographs from NASA, and they're picking out some really, really interesting stuff. There, you're right, it isn't dark, is it? Not always. And dowsing works there, and I must admit I use the dowsing rod installer. I've got a set because we went to do a crop circle investigation last year just before we started doing the stream, and we used them there, but again, total in ignorance, not really sure how they're meant to work, but we need to bring them a bit more often, I think. And if they went to the moon, why can't they go to other planets there? Was that a dumb question? Lucy, never a dumb question. It's mainly like a technological thing, like you've got to, there are certain challenges with it, like obviously you're going to be up there longer, you're going to be exposed to more of space, the radiation, the risks and the dangers, but in theory they can go to other planets. But it is, what does that do to the body being in 0G for that amount of time? What does it do if you're exposed to the, the solar radiation and all of these sort of things? Well, there are any risks of that? Technologically, it's more about we need to get really like better rockets So they could have done it with we could technically do it with the rockets we've got now, but it's kind of like not ideal. To get up to, you've seen the images of the rockets that we have now, and think of the old the Saturn V, the Apollo era. It was that tiny little capsule on the top, and the rest of that was fuel, basically, because it takes so much energy just to get that little thing up there. So then when you need more fuel to go further, you've got to have an even bigger rocket, which then needs more fuel for itself to get it up there and all this sort of stuff like that. But in theory, they can. We kind of just lost our appetite for it. They were planning of going to Mars and orbiting Venus and all this sort of stuff like that, during the space race. They're really, really ambitious plans, which never really came to fruition because kind of the pressure came off and they spent the money elsewhere. And Susie's skeptical with the moon landing. That's cool. I think there are some questions to be answered. I don't lean that way. I do lean probably more along the lines of what it went. But I do think they would have 100% faked it if something had gone wrong there. I don't believe anything that we are told anymore. And understandable. And I don't think we should. I don't think we should also write everything off. But I also think that, gone are the days where we blindly follow authority now. Now we're so connected, we can actually see the truth. We can see the details of all of these things. And therefore, blind trust, or even blind, direction, isn't quite appropriate, is it? It's just not the world that we are in anymore. I'm on the fence with the moon landing there. I'd like it to be real. It's okay, yeah. My bias towards it is that I do want it to be real as well. And there were no stars in the photos. And yet the universe is full of stars. So there are lots of interesting questions. The star one is a good one because, again, this is how much you believe the thing of it. But I'd leaned this way as an explanation. So basically, it is that because the moon is very, very reflective, it bounces a lot of light up there, and therefore the dim, faint light of the star gets overpowered by the reflected light that comes up here. And I lean to that being true because doing this, when the moon comes up, even if you point in the other direction of the sky, we will see so few stars. Even down here on Earth, and it's in the other direction, it can still have that effect. So I can kind of believe that it does drown out. But there are really interesting questions, I think, about it. One of the ones for me is that why did NASA not provide any sort of direct connection to the feed for it? Why was it projected onto a wall and then the broadcast cameras filmed the wall? That breaks the chain because signals at the time, analog radio signals, they convey a little bit of data. They tell you a lot about the source of the signal and about, what's happened to it. So by projecting it like that cuts that out. So I'm a bit sus like that. But just in time, it got back just in time, and it's the far side of the moon, the Pink Floyd, but that's what it was based on. And that was a beauty. That was the first good one I think we've had in a good few months there. I've used dowsing rods on paranormal investigations there, and it'll only work if you do it properly and with respect to the spirits there. I've had a lot of evidence with them, and some people pretend to get evidence. So yeah, I think the respect, I think, is something that is more and more important when we're talking about our reductionist view of the world, like cause and effect, real Newtonian physics there, the way that we've all really been brought up. And then you talking about this more, the consciousness side of things, the more paranormal side, there does seem to be the intention in which you're doing something does seem to have an effect. And now we can kind of overlap that with the quantum world. These sorts of things do play a part in reality. So it's not as crazy, I think that can be quite a lot of it there. And Lethal there, Curiosity is exploring the Gale crater since 2012, and it spent 13 years climbing Mount Sharp there, studying ancient water layers despite worn-out wheels. It's amazing how long those things are still going on for. They are got to give them the hat that most of the time they are building very reliable pieces of kit there. I think I'll be more inclined to blindly believe you, Carl, there, given the snippets I've learned from it. See, yeah, this is the thing. Nothing, I don't think, can trump personal relationships. And authority is what we do in the absence of knowing that, isn't it there? We've had to develop a way to interact with larger groups of people. Problem is, the larger the group of people, the more inefficient any process becomes, any organisation becomes as well. So what we've done as a society is we've gone, right, well, we'll give people titles, and those people can earn those titles, and therefore they're more likely to know what they're on about this and should be listened to in these cases. Now, obviously, that's an imperfect system, and there are flaws in it. It does help us speed through life. We still go to the doctors most of the time, don't we? Although I will bleat till the cows come home about how bad most of them are. But so I don't think it's a binary yes or no, but I think we just have to recognise that these are guides, these are proxies for when you can know something for yourself. When it's based upon proven ability. Exactly. And catch you later there, Lucy, as well. In fact, oh God, look at the time. I'm going to be coming off in a second there. Universe said, Tracker, we have shooting stars tonight. It did. Australopithecus, oh God, I pronounced that wrong there, was the first human. So, well, it was, one of the first of the branches that we have discovered, isn't it there? There is, what's the name of, there was one, I never remember the name of it, but they've got this skull from it, somewhere in China. And it's meant to be a sister species from us, human, Homo sapiens sapiens, so our branch. At the time that we branched off as this modern human, and then this species branched off, that is thought to be, looking at the genetics, the same time that split happened. So when they were around, we were around. And they've got this skull that's like 1 million years old. So that implies that humanity in its current form has been 1 million years old as well. But there's probably so many more variations in between there. Catch you later, Gribbage, as well. And when we all meet up, I will do some investigating with them and see what we get. I'd love that one, Carl. And anyone with intelligence and knowledge can see life started on Earth. See, now that is the thing. It's plausible. It's a theory. But where are you getting, like, with intelligence and knowledge there? You're just repeating what the mainstream has said. There's many more arguments out there than that. They're very, very plausible as well. I'm not saying it didn't, but it is not a known fact. You can definitely believe that yourself, and that is totally fine. But then to say, why doesn't everybody else? Well, because other people have seen also other evidence of these things as well. So it might not have started here at all. It is not a given fact. But life is here on Earth. Did anyone catch the rocket hit in the middle? I didn't, Angus, sadly I didn't there. And hominins emerged 6 to 7 million years ago there, and the Homo genius appeared 2.8 million years ago, and modern humans, Homo sapiens, evolved around 300. So yeah, but that's the current oldest line that they've put it at. But that's it's based on the oldest fossils that are confirmed as humans. But there's definitely more time. I mean, they're discovering, aren't they, structures that intelligently fossilized wooden structures. Is it another intelligent species that built them, or was it early humans there? And the Earth has a perfect conditions for life. It does, hence why it's thriving. But again, we're looking at life now, and you've heard the habitable zone. Well, that's getting wider and wider and wider. Life is apparently much more resilient than we first thought as well. Well, I can't think it was serious. What was that one, Angus? No, it was, but it wasn't like it's a real thing, wasn't it? But it was, just junk. It's also a fact that anyone with intelligence knows that life is complex and full of receipt and not a single ingredient. Well, exactly, Kate. And I think this is the thing, is that it's it's such a nuanced argument. It isn't that simple. We're there. And the Earth is teeming with life, 100%, Jenny. It really is. But it doesn't mean it's necessarily the source of it. I think there's a good plausibility to it being, but that's different from knowing, and we have to separate it out. The planets are spits from the Sun, and the Earth has evolved faster than the others. There's a good argument that Mars was very, very Earth-like. Mars was definitely habitable before Earth was. Because Earth is a higher mass than Mars, it took longer to cool down, so less, more time with the lava. So Mars actually cooled quicker. And was, we now know, pretty Earth-like. We do think it had an atmosphere. We know it had liquid water, so it probably had oceans and land and all that sort of stuff as well there. Venus, we're not so sure on, but we do suspect that it was for a while, again, quite Earth-like. And Venus is much closer than Mars, and it's a 95% fit as a match there. And Mars could have had a huge comet strike that sterilized the planet. Well, something did seem to have happened there as well. So it could be so many things that have gone on over there. Right, the curve score is so damn hot. Definitely. It was moss. Oh, what was that one for, Kate? And fossils are like the 146,000-year-old Dragon Man skull in China suggest that the common ancestor of our humans, Neanderthals and Denisovans, may have diverged earlier in Eurasia and West Asia than previously thought. Is it the dragon skull that I'm thinking of? Because I thought that was like going on nearly 1 million years old, but I don't know if it is the dragon one. But it's interesting. But again, you've got to be really forgiving of the scientists, because they're trying to piece a puzzle together, and they've definitely not got all the pieces. They've got fractions of the pieces trying to draw the big picture. So that's fine. But again, we can't mistake that for the finished object, can we? We've still got to allow the gaps right there. I'll take ignorance over intentionally misleading people. And Kate, I think that is the first point with all of this. Even in the scientific world as well. There, never. It's like don't incompetence over conspiracy with it there. I've not heard that one. Thomas Lethbridge studied dowsing. Interesting. 1.8 million old fossil from, was it Demenici? Oh my god, there. Georgia suggested the early Homo species may have evolved and diversified in Eurasia before moving back into Africa. Interesting. Again, it's amazing what they can do with piecing these puzzles together there. Whoever lands on Mars first is doomed. Quite possible. I mean, obviously the technical implications there as well, but there's two schools of thought on the idea that, look, if there is life on Mars, as we strongly suspect there is, will it kill us? And there's two ways that this could go, which is either yes, because we've not built up any immune system to it, whatever it is, and you're buggered, or no, because we are so not related that the same way our immune system needs to know about it, viruses are adapted normally to the species that they interact with, so it might not be able to infect us and press the buttons yet. So there's two interesting schools of thought. Personally, I wouldn't want to take the risk. And could nuclear-powered spacecraft be feasible? Bang on, they could, and they were really looking into it at the time. Back in the 60s, they tested some rocket engines there. They were very good. I think they're going to actually test one to go to Mars. I don't think it's a manned mission, but NASA is talking about a nuclear one. So it is a thing there. They just kind of lost their appetite. They were making really good headway, but they lost it. Could definitely be a way around it there. And have you seen the military building in South Korea? Allegedly built on top of a UAP to hide it there because it was physically too big to move there. And it's located quite high up on a large hill / mountain. I've seen it and I do like it. I do. Always skeptical normally of those sorts of things, but there was apparently reports in that city of anti-aircraft guns, something strange in the sky around the time that was constructed. So it kind of fits in a plausibility there, but the actual thing that is meant to be doesn't add up. So it's meant to be I think it's like an aircraft beacon, like homing beacon, and they have them at airports basically, so you can, as a pilot, you tune into that beacon, and if you're getting stronger, that signal's getting stronger, you're getting closer to that airport, like a homing device. So it's that sort of thing for a military one there. But the problem is with those is that they just need to be a couple of lattice towers to hold the mast. There's not a big structure at all. But this thing that's claiming to be one of these beacons is this massive circular stone and concrete terrace in this hillside. It's properly terraced to level it all out, and it's like it just doesn't need to be. That is well over engineered. Now maybe somebody did have a few extra quid in the budget. That has happened before, but it is well over engineered for what it is. So I'm open to it as being that one there. I think we need to leave Earth soon. Now, Angus, I don't think we need to leave it behind, but at some point we will, won't we? And I think we need to leave Earth in the sense as a species. We can't be dependent on this planet. It's too fragile. We need to spread out there as well. It's more in here there. It's going over 40 degrees. See where you are there. And one W there. This is in Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. Where are you joining us from there? And Rib, I believe they already thought about it, but it is too dangerous if something goes wrong and re-entry contamination. So yeah, I think they're going to be. They are definitely the things they've thought about. I would say, but old Musk isn't thinking about it. I think it's incredibly important that we do get a life-finding mission to do a proper comprehensive result test on the surface before we go there. I think we'll still go anyway, but we need to know and at least be aware. And consensus says humans originated in Africa there 300,000 years ago there, but new research views human evolution as a braided stream there across Africa and Eurasia, with Asia playing a much bigger role than thought. That sounds about right, but again, this is just all the current best thinking with limited details. So it's not to naysay it, not at all, but it is just remembering that this is our best guess at the minute. So let's go forward with that, utilize this as true when we're going forward as the guide, but let's not get too hung up on it there. And thank you, Kate, for coming in with the UK the location. And the only reason we can make Mars is most other planets are gas there, 2 nukes, and we can go live on Mars. Actually, Angus, you're quite right there, yeah, because a lot of the other planets, they're not solid are out there as well, are they? Think of old Jupiter, Saturn, but you got moons as well. We tend to think Ganymede, Titan there, even Europa might be a bit chilly, but they're technically we could inhabit those. Yeah, Ganymede is another strange one that could be a very, very Earth-like atmosphere. Again, it's not pleasant there, but the atmosphere is very Earth-like. Spooky, how you doing, Spurs? And Captain there. What am I looking at? This is a night sky. It's a live camera looking out for UFOs, UAPs, and all of those strange things there in the night sky live. Do say hello, guys. Let us know where you're watching from. Ask away any questions. No silly questions here at all. I think it is Angus. I think that's what we're catching. And usually I see one on the 12th as my missus' birthday. Oh, I love it. That's the eclipse this year, isn't it? Peak is 12th to the 13th. We'll definitely be on for those there, as long as it's a clear sky there. We came from alien Spurs. I could believe it. I could believe it there. Now, do you think more in like a bacterial sense, Martian simple life form came over here when Earth was habitable and it's evolved into us? Or are you thinking, the Anunnaki and they adapted, ape genes, or maybe a civilization long ago fled its planet and, we are them? Where do you lean with those? I'll catch you later there, Susie. Oh, Cheapskate birthday fireworks. Hey, I mean, you can tell her you laid it on for her. And way late tonight there, Pancake. We set us up watching the stars. Well, that is a good excuse. Excuse me. Seen a red light there swap to green and then disappear after a small movement. Super clear, so no clouds to go by. And that is interesting. The coloration of that too. Just trying best to get the phone out and I can't get more than a single bright star. Oh, super. I've tried that myself. They really are shit. I see why everybody's videos are crap. Moss was what survived on the side of some of the spacecraft. Definitely, I think the ISS Moss has survived up there. But there was a complex life form occurring. But obviously the tardigrades, everyone knows about them. They can survive quite a while in the vacuum of space. But again, the more that we're testing, the more resilient life looks to be. It doesn't need the perfect conditions necessarily of Earth. Obviously, it's preferable. But started for about 5 minutes there, expecting to see it come from somewhere. Interesting. And people crave escapism from there. Worries and use strange ideas and beliefs to distract them. They do. They very, very much do, Jenny. That is very, very true. And do you believe in a religion, Zachary? So not necessarily in the traditional sense of do you believe in X, Y, and Z. I've got a bit of a cock-handed view of all of these things. So I've got a lot of time for religion as a concept there. I don't, write it off fully. But the way I view it is, again, it's a very human thing trying to, figure out the rules of what might be going on, how to interact in the world, how the universe works, to the best of its time and the best of its ability. That's kind of how I view it. So I can listen to it in certain senses, and go, oh, that might be an interesting point of view. I wouldn't write it all off. I definitely think there's a lot of clues, especially about this sort of stuff. Those earlier religious interpretations maybe about what's going on. Oh, we got a plane, guys. We got a plane. Let's see on the old radar. What is it there? Oh, you see it's right in the middle when it comes up there. Don't know what that one is. We should zoom in on it. But yeah, this is, again, one of the reasons that that when we get planes, they are quite obvious. Coming right over the screen there. And yesterday I saw some crazy shit, and it looked like stars, but moving in circles and then go straight. Oh, panic. Could you have an idea how far away they may have been? Because it depends on the altitude there. Like, if you can write off drones, then that is highly, highly anomalous. And again, people have been seeing this stuff for thousands of years. Exactly the same experience there. So it's not definite that it is drones or man-made, is it? There. In Hertfordshire, love it there. I've got some family that way. And the 12th, the 6th planetary alignment as well. I keep forgetting about that one there. And why do they name it Ganymede? I think after Red Dwarf, I think. The song. He's way back, and I'm up to date now, I think, just about, or is it not updated yet? Where are we? Good spot in there, Lethal. And Lilac there, Mexico City there, the Boeing 787, 9 there. Dreamliner, oh, that's what it was. Good spot in Lilac, appreciate that. Anyway, guys, I am going to come off for tonight. I've gone on a little bit longer than expected, but hopefully we'll be back on TikTok tomorrow night, as usual with the Skywatch. But we will be on, as always, so make sure you're following, subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, and you can join us as we go live. Again, probably around the 10 p.m. Mark for that one now. Oh, Ganymede was a young lad Zeus abducted because he was pretty. That's about right, isn't it, for that lot? Jeez, I did not know that, Kate. That's hilarious. What was it? they named. Oh, I'll have to go into that story at a later date because I'll need to rush on with the details, but it's hilarious. But thank you guys for joining us. Always good to see you in there. We're going to be on at the next time, and we'll be on tomorrow night there for another Skywatch. Remember, earlier, guys, it's going to be the deep dive. So if you are a member or a patron, you'll be able to check us at 8 p.m. We're going to be looking at the NIDS, National Institute for Discovery Science Archives. And if you want to give it a try, there's a free trial for the Patreon over link in bio for those ones. So you better join us for free for a month there as well. So yeah, do join us there. Oh, and you also get on the Starship Alan. Hold on, we haven't done that one tonight. There we go. Can you spot yourself on the Starship? Where is Alan? Alan looks like he's in the bar at the bottom there. But this populates by all of our Patreons and, just the Patreons at the minute. Your images and your names there appear, and it's a little ant farm watching you guys going off around there. You can actually log in and adjust your crew title and things like that. But if you want to be on there, the free version works fine. And yeah, get your name on there. Can you spot yourself where you're all hiding there quickly before we come off? Be your first one there, Leaf. Looking forward to it. Yeah, so probably about 8 p.m. I think for that. We'll do about an hour and a half of that if there's enough material to go for it, and then we'll be over onto our Skywatch there. You're in the Jazz Lounge, Lethal. The Jazz Lounge is a new feature for there. Right, anyway, coming off now. Bye-bye, guys.